Okay, and we lock. Oh, that's the wrong screen. There's the right screen. Okay. Gives me a few more precious seconds of startup time.
It's a terrible night to have the wrong screen.
Yeah. Okay. Odyssey looks good. YouTube looks good.
Well, YouTube didn't look good with the point YouTube.
Well, I mean, like, it's not skipping or anything. Remember, we got problems with that sometimes. Okay. Okay, send Discord. Okay, tweet sent. Let's see. Minute 37 seconds. I'm on record time today. Record
You're late.
time. No, shut up. It's close enough.
It's a fast.
Yeah, that's still a record for us, though.
You're still late. You have made a new record being late.
Okay, we're doing good. Doing good. Okay. 50 seconds. Yeah, I think we're all done. Oh boy, I can relax for 30 seconds. I have a feeling I'm missing something, but I don't know what it is. I think I'm okay. Eight, 6, 5, 4, 3. Welcome back, fellow scrubs. I'm here. Tim's here. I'm Mark the Wiz. I have copious amounts of coffee in my system right now, so working on retromation. Dude, I woke up at 5 in the morning, and I didn't actually get the nap that I wanted because we kept working on the thing, which is fine. I chose to continue to work on the thing. But we're here.
Hey.
I missed my track. That's what it was. This is my track title thing. There you go. Alright, what's that?
For what it's worth, I also woke up at 5 in the morning.
Oh jeez. So you're damn, you're double fucked then. You woke up earlier than me.
Yes, that's
Because of time
7 hours
zones.
apart, plus day job in between.
Oof.
You know, usual.
Alright, y'all ready to learn about Pixel Wobble? We're gonna learn about Pixel Wobble.
Ooh, Pixel Wobble.
Yeah. Alright, get ready for ugly shit. I don't know if this shows up on the stream as well as you get to see it, or I get to see it rather.
I see whole bands wobbling.
Yeah, you see it, right? You see all the banding on the image?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it looks like shit on stream. Yeah, okay, that's perfect. That's what,
Right, shit.
Yeah, well, I gotta show you the bad before I show you what I did to fix it. So when you have an uneven scale on a clean pixel image, you're inevitably going to get what's called banding. Because if we zoom in here, well, let the camera go back down here. There we go. Oh no, is that force scrolling? Yeah, well, I just got the camera moving just so you can see it. Let's see. Is there a good pattern here? Sometimes it's hard to see it when you zoom in because everything's so close. Oh, good, right here.
Little variant X now, Mark.
What's that?
Little does variant X now. We're going to implement the auto scroll.
We're gonna implement one. Hold on, I gotta boost you again. You're talking so low.
Yeah. Little does variant X know, we are going to implement the auto scroll.
Oh, the auto scroll. No, thank you. I don't know. If the segment, if the segment that worked well with it, I'd be fine with it. But I can't think of anything in Mansion that I'd want to do with that. So anyway, the see this pixel here? This pixel's not square. This pixel's weird and thin, and the whole column is weird and thin. See that? See how that's different than the ones around it? This is what causes pixel wobble. As the screen moves, keep your eye on this pixel down here, and I'm gonna frame advance the game. So, update, update, update. Whoa, look at that. Now it's square. Or maybe even oblong. Like, what happened? So, the thing is, if you don't have a straight multiple of the screen in terms of like size, upscaled from your base resolution, the game can't make every pixel square. Because inevitably, some of them, you don't have enough resolution to do it. Some of them are just going to have to be thinner than others. You just don't have the space to have them all equal. Because then you'd have a perfect, multiple. So if it's like 2 times the size of your screen, or 3 or 4 times the size of your screen, if it's exactly 100%, a multiple, everything will look great. It's fine. But if you don't have that, then some of the columns are gonna be weird. They're gonna be thinner than others. The problem comes into play when you scroll that image. You can see that wobble kind of manifests as this kind of wave, this waviness, because the column that is smaller, thinner than the other columns, doesn't really change position. So when the camera moves, it kind of just offsets which row or column of pixels is in the thin one, and then you get this weird shimmer. Sometimes it's called pixel wobble, sometimes it's called pixel shimmer. I thought there was another name for it too, but you get the idea. So how do we fix this? We just click the handy dandy thing over here and boom, it's fixed. Look at that. Whoa, it's magic. So what did I do to do that? It's magic, right?
Magic.
I just did magic.fix the scrolling and it worked. This is called interpolation. So now if what?
Magic.
Yeah, it's magic. Now if we zoom in, it doesn't look it from
blurry.
Yeah, it doesn't look it from far away. You don't see the blurriness, but if you zoom in, you'll start to see what's going on. So in order to keep the pixels looking more square, we slightly blur the sides of the pixels together to create more of an even look out of it. Now, as it is, you can still get a small bit of wobbling, especially if you look really close. If I frame advance, you can see a little bit of a difference sometimes, but it's pretty good though. I mean, just looking at it, you really can't tell unless you're really looking for it that something might be wobbling. And especially if you're not looking really close at the screen, if you're not zoomed in, like, you won't see it. Like, you can sort of get it here, like if I zoom in, especially in Ricky. You can kind of feel it on Ricky's in the high contrast areas. But when you're looking from a normal distance, you don't see shit. So again, we'll go back to none. Look at all that wobble, all that disgusting, gross wobble. Pocket Fighter EX has this wobble, by the way, but the game never scrolls consistently in a way that it becomes all that noticeable. If you're really looking for it, you'll see it. But for a game like a platformer, where you're always moving at a constant speed, you'll see the wobble super hard. It really does come through. Now I'm gonna backport all this tech back into Pocket Fighter EX to make it all look nice and smooth and happy. But for now, this is the only project that has this new tech, and this is what I've been working on this past week and some. So there you go. Looks all cool. So honestly, it's not too big of a secret. You may have noticed I got a third option here, which is soft, and this makes the image blurry all the time. So even from here, you can see the difference between the none. Oh, I guess I got a frame advance. Between the none here and then the soft, it's like night and day difference. The soft is really soft. It's just reminiscent of like the filtering you'd find in games and stuff from like the early days of computers. Not like DOS, but like, you know, like Windows 98 stuff. You know, things like that might have had this bilinear filter on. And it certainly smoothed things out, but it looks kind of ugly. A lot of people don't prefer this. It definitely helps the interpolation, but you know, you want the best of both worlds. So I combined the two things into one, basically. So what it does is it applies a scale to the image that closest represents what the resolution scale should be if it was a perfect scale. And then it downsamples that back to the screen using the bilinear filter, if that makes any sense. So if this is, I don't know, what is it? It doesn't tell me. Oh man, I don't know. Here, I'll just draw it. Hey DTC, what's up? Here, look at, here. I'll show it one more time for people coming in. This is a straight unfiltered scale of the game. You see the pixel wobble. All the pixels are kind of like wavy and wobbly, and it looks like shit. And here's the filter, the new filter. Kind of gets rid of all that. At certain scales, it works better than others. But usually, if you got like 720p or like 1080p, it'll look really nice. So you don't have to worry so much about that. Okay, let's see. New. Here's how it works. Let's paint black first, and then we'll do a new layer. Yeah. So you've got your screen, like your actual like original screen of the game in its 1:1 pixel format here, and that's being rendered off to the side. But then you have your actual like game screen, like your monitor resolution, which is like a monstrous big giant resolution, right? I'm gonna have to make this bigger.
It's only 1080p.
What's that?
It's only 1080p.
It's only 1080p. Yeah, well, considering the base resolution is pretty close to an NES, it's quite the disparity there. So okay, you've got your original resolution of the game, and here I'll draw a little Ricky here. All right, it's the little Ricky, and it's really bad, but you get the idea. There's Ricky. There's little Ricky. His hair is way too big on him. Way too big. There. Okay, there's a little Ricky. I'm actually gonna make him like green because Ricky's actually green. There. It's a little easier to see him. There's the original resolution of the game. Here's your monitor, right? So what you have to do is scale up this image in order to fit it. Now you can fit it exactly and it will be okay-ish, but it's gonna be a bit distorted. So what I ended up doing is I give it an integer scale, so make sure that it's like a power of whatever. Or not a power of, but like, you know, it's either 3x, like 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x scale kind of thing. And what it is it ends up being bigger than the monitor because it doesn't fit exactly the monitor size, unless you set it to exact scale, but it could be any resolution. Maybe it's in a window and it's not even full screen. So what I do is I take this, first blow it up, and then I size it back down to the monitor size.
Just so you know, the NES resolution is only 4.5 times the width. Less
of
NES resolution, the width times 4.5 is 1080.
Times 4.5. Oh yeah. All right, hold that thought. I'll get to that in a second. There's a reason for that. Let's see. So then
more in the vertical space.
Yeah, and then we would take the image and then shrink it down to the screen and center it and whatever. And when we do this step, this is where we apply the interpolation. So we take the bigger source image and we shrink it. And then, like, you don't see it from a distance, but again, when you zoom in, you can see the interpolation here. So it's slightly blurring the edges of the pixels to help maintain their uniform shape. And the effect is pretty impressive, I gotta say. If you look between none and sharp, you almost don't see a difference. Just the wobble goes away. So it's pretty powerful, for sure. It definitely helps. And it's gonna be what the game will have on at default, because otherwise it might look like crap. So
looking at the numbers of these resolutions.
Mm-hmm.
The NES is 256Y.
Yes, by 240.
And 1080p is 1920 wide.
Yeah, you wouldn't scale it to the width because it wouldn't reach the sides. You'd scale it to the height because it would hit the height first.
The height is 240 to 1080.
Yeah, so like here, it would definitely hit the height first before it hit the sides.
Oh, sorry, the height is 4.5 times and the width is 7.5 times.
Yes. So typically, some people will play the NES and the Super Nintendo games. They have the same resolution at the 4.5x. That will give you an exact scale, top to bottom, for your 1080p window or monitor or whatever. The thing is that the game's usually accounted for overscan. So typically, a lot of people play them at 5x scale, and they'll just center the image. And so the top and bottom will be cut off a little bit, but on a CRT, you'd get roughly the same cutoff anyway. It's a slightly tiny little bit more cutoff, but everything fits in there perfect, and everything's a smooth scale at 5x. Now, we're not doing that here. I think we've got we got 216 as our scale, so I guess we kind of are doing that.
Wow,
kind of are doing
running
that.
5x is kind of weird though. When you number crunch it is 4.5 times.
Yeah, if you wanted it completely, if you wanted to see the entire vertical resolution, yeah, but most people will put it at 5x because it's going to cut off about.
You would actually go beyond the screen. 4x is the preferred then.
If you did 4x, then it would be like letterboxed.
Yeah, but 5x would actually go beyond the boundaries of the screen.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But because the games were made knowing that the CRT would do that anyway.
Okay.
That's what they call overscan. Portions of the screen, they don't put important information right at the edge of the screen because it may not be visible depending on your CRT TV set. And so everything was kind of moved in a little bit. Some games just have like nothing down below, or they'll have like a blank color. Like Genesis games are pretty notorious for that, like Master System games. Or you saw the Sega Saturn version of Cynthia Knight just had a blue bar on the bottom. If you didn't have the overscan to cover that, you would see that ugly bar, like at least in the first area. And it was really, because they just didn't expect you to see all the way out on the sides, because you would never see that on a CRT. So they would give you that kind of condensed view. So here, instead of using 240, we do use 216. 384 by 216 is a perfect 16:9 resolution. So if we set this to 16:9, oh, wrong one. Just landscape.
Curious is that a smart?
It's perfectly scaled.
With 5 times, well, it's supposed to be 4.5 times. You're roughly at 90% of the actual screen being rendered.
Yes.
So
Yeah. It's pretty convincing.
Pixels.
Right. Yeah. You don't lose very much.
Well, it's a tile and a half.
Correct.
Which might be actually what's happening on the NES. Roughly there.
It's essentially what you see on a CRT, but yeah.
Like, I think you'd be cutting off 2 pixels on 2 tiles on the NES? Or 1.5?
Roughly.
Pretty
Yeah,
same.
1.5. I mean, it gets centered, so something like that.
Yes. So I guess that's why it works.
Yeah, and the developers,
all-
they knew this was going to happen on a CRT, so they don't really put anything there. You're not missing much. So I'll always play at 5x for the most part, unless there's some reason not to. But yeah, so we're kind of simulating that. I think what it was 240, right, was the height for the NES resolution. And we're using 216 here, which cuts a little bit up off the top and the bottom. If we go to the older Mansion project file here, and get my controller to wake up here. It might be a little harder to see here, but you can kind of see it where we go down to this tile down here. But the top is like a half tile. You only see the half tile on the top. And so that's what we do here. Let me pop out in this area back into the debug area. It's a little easier to see because it's a little brighter here. But if we well, I guess that we can't quite see the ceiling, can we? Hold on, let me go to the other area over here.
And that's because how you laid out the...
Yeah, it's that there's no camera lock here, so it gets a little weird. But yeah, here, so if Ricky sits here, you see a few pixels get cut off the bottom here. And a few pixels on top get cut off the top one. So it's not like a perfect even one, but that's okay. I mean, we need the widescreen to kind of adapt to modern monitors, so I think it looks fine. It's alright. There's nothing wrong with it. Yeah, you can see here again. It slightly cuts off the top and slightly cuts off the bottom when it's completely centered. So I think that works alright. I think that works well. And to be honest, that's kind of what you would have saw on the original console anyway. You get some kind of cutoff involved. So let's go back down here. Yeah, just kind of seeing here. The camera's a little whacked differently here, so it gets kind of like this is like a half here. You get like the full 2 blocks down here, and then you get the half up on top. So that's intentional, very intentional. So let's grab the key here, and we'll go down, or go into the door. It might be easier to see in the other parts of the mansion. No, not so much here. Oh, here. Yeah, so you see, actually, let me turn on the debug here. You can see it quite clearly here. The two, I calibrated the camera, so the two on the bottom gives you like a thicker, like solid feeling. And this is the more important visual information, is what's under your feet anyway. And then up on top, you only get the half. And that's the default camera position here. When it's centered, it's a little bit like both sides are cut off a little bit. But on the default camera position, you get that. So here, see it's a little cut off on top. Let me move over here. Here, a little cut off on top, a little cut off on the bottom when it's centered. But when you're in a single room, then you get like the solid two. So you can always see it very clearly. And this has a low ceiling in this room, but you can clearly see the top tiles being cut off. Again, the floor is where your priority is going to be visually. The floor has to look solid, or it's going to look weird anyway. And it's the more important information because you are always falling. You're not falling upwards, you're falling downwards. So you want to clearly see the floor under you. So like this room's a good example too. Always have the two on the bottom and then build up from there. Doesn't have to be like all the way to the top. Like if you want it to feel more narrow, you don't have to do that. But in certain cases like this, I went pretty high on the ceiling just to kind of give it a little variety on the ceiling up on top here. And here too. If I went back to redo this, I would probably lower the ceiling by 1 just to get a better visual feel on it. But since I was just testing the water, I just kind of didn't really care in this one. Again, none of these maps are permanent. They're all testers, so it's all right. And that's kind of the long and short of it. So that's why we chose the resolution we did. And it looks pretty cool. So, I think it does at least.
Here's the thing though.
Mm-hmm.
So the NES is actually 256 high, right? Originally?
I thought it was 240.
Or 240 high. Which one's the wider one? Big one.
It's 256 wide, but 240 tall.
Oh, okay.
If I recall correctly. And Super Nintendo's same one.
Yeah, which is not an actual 4:3 ratio.
It is not, no. In fact, that's one thing that we're not doing is having the oblong pixels. So pixels on the NES, when you view them on the CRT, are actually rectangular, very slightly, because the image is being stretched horizontally a little bit.
So on the NES, if you actually were to render the entirety of the image on a 4:3, so it's
it still does.
The entire width.
It's just that some of the image can't be
right?
seen.
It renders the full width, right?
It does, and the height, yeah.
Or, I mean, you see the full width on the television screen.
Not exactly, no.
Oh.
That also gets into the overscan area.
The overscan.
Yeah.
So even more then, because that would seem that if you calculate it, you're losing 48 pixels on the height.
Yeah.
Already. It's a lot.
It is, but they designed it to be that way. I mean, CRT TVs are like that. If you look at the CRT TV, it's not like the glass of the screen ends where the plastic starts on the outside of your TV. The screen's actually still behind there a little bit. Now, overscan is something that was different between models, so they just kind of had to plan for the worst case scenario and then work it into that.
Even if you exactly match the outer edge of the 256, you'd still be missing 48 pixels. That's three whole tiles.
What do you mean?
It's a 4:3, right? 4:3 ratio.
Well, it stretches it. You don't like lose anything.
Really?
It just stretches it.
And what, the CRT?
Yeah. Yeah, it's an analog signal, so they send it, as a spectrum. It starts and it ends, and it's just a signal.
Yeah, I'm saying is that the
sense.
resolution isn't anywhere near 4:3.
No, it's not. But they stretch it over the
it's
size
actually
of the signal. So when you see it on the CRT, the pixels are rectangular. They're stretched sideways, very slightly. They're slightly rectangular. They're not actually squares, because it has to stretch the width to cover the whole screen.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that the resolution is actually closer to being almost a perfect square.
Yes, that's correct.
Is.
Yeah, right. The internal pixel resolution, yeah, if you look at it at 1:1, yeah, it looks more square-like. Yeah. But it gets stretched horizontally to go over the whole thing. That part we're not doing here. One, because it's just kind of a logistical nightmare, but I don't feel like sacrificing horizontal space. I just don't think it's necessary. Most people, I hate to say, like, most people won't notice the difference anyway, but it is very true. It would be very hard for people to notice the difference on it. And it's easier for us to just be able to draw perfect circles and not have to worry about the stretching. And you can certainly do it, but I don't see a huge benefit to going out of our way to do that in particular.
Maybe you're saying they would be stretched horizontally or vertically?
Horizontally only. Yeah. They'd be rectangular horizontally.
Let's see. Yeah, so it's 256 wide, correct?
Yeah. It's because it's 240 from top to bottom, but that's how many lines the CRT will draw in one pass. So that's going to be set. The height is always set. It's the width that gets stretched. The height is correct, because the width doesn't have a resolution. It's only the height that has a resolution. Because the height has the 240 lines. The electron beam will shoot from left to right, and then it'll move down and shoot left to right again. Well, I guess it's right to left on the other side. Whatever, you get the idea. From our perspective, we see it from left to right. And each line is going to have like a gap between it. But that's the set resolution from top to bottom, 240 lines. But the analog signal, as it's drawing from left to right, has infinite resolution. It's literally just a light particle beam that's shooting out. And it's an analog signal, so it just changes as it goes along. And so the NES will just, like, it'll start sending the information and just clock its way across the screen as it's going, which ends up filling the whole screen, but it stretches it horizontally. And that's the real technical reason as to why it's doing that. So it just kind of samples the pixel as it goes along. And then the analog signal just, it's just there. It's got infinite wavelength resolution or whatever you want to call it. And it's just going. It doesn't care. It's just going. And it will just print what's over there.
By your estimate, how much of the horizontal space are you losing on CRT?
Maybe a tile and a half.
And that will be pure overscan.
Yeah, it would just be caught by the overscan. Maybe 2 tiles at most. It's not a lot, for sure.
Horizontally?
Yeah,
okay.
Horizontally. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Because the overscan affects the entire image. So it's like slightly letterboxing an image. That's why, depending on your TV, you know, like when the NES scrolls and it's kind of got that garbage data on the outside? You know, like when Mario 3 scrolls and it's kind of weird because the palette's like shifting on the outside and the tiles look strange. You might not even see that on a CRT because it's cut out.
Huh.
Yeah.
So, you'd actually be losing 4.5 vertical pixels. So sort of tiles, 4.5 vertical tiles.
4.5?
It's insane. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
But
I think it's only
lights.
it's only like one it's only like one at 1 point X on top and bottom though, so it's not really that bad. Like combined together, it's like, oh wow, it's 4 tiles almost. But when you're only losing like 1.5 on top and bottom to like 1 3/4, it doesn't really make that big a difference.
And it's only a half overscan on the width. You also lose 4 tiles. Huh.
On the width, yeah, probably somewhere around there. But they accounted for that. The games are built to account for that. It's not like you're really losing anything. They assumed that it wasn't going to be there to begin with.
I'm just thinking, are you really seeing that much more, for example, on the Legacy collections?
Yeah, for sure. Assuming that they didn't zoom it in to more match a CRT.
I don't think so.
The Mega Man games have been pretty good about kind of filling out the whole space, so I wouldn't expect there to be anything particularly missing.
Yeah, you're using 2 from the top, 2 from the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Or something like that. It's a crazy amount, though.
You think that, but you don't miss it when you're playing.
Yeah, but say any, other methods which render it, actually. They would actually render it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like emulated collections and shit. Yeah, you'd see that typically. It's typically not hidden. Sometimes they'll give you an option for it, but it's not common.
Would be interesting to see a side by side of, say, Mega Man 2 on a rendering on a CRT versus an extra screen.
I mean, I can boot it up and show it if you want. I don't have Mega Man 2 like right next to me, but I can boot up like Mega Man X and show it. It'd be clear image anyway.
Yeah. It's just gonna, because I've played these games side by side before. I never really saw it.
Yeah, like I said, it sounds like a lot, but it's not really. You're really not missing much at all. Hold on, let me boot it up. Let's see, is it connected?
Well, it just mostly made me think about when we were trying upscaling to an actual 69 resolution.
Yeah.
How much of the verticality we were losing trying to do so?
A little bit, because like oh, hold on, my microphone's up in the air because I'm screwing with the Super Nintendo. Yeah, like if we were using the full gambit of the resolution for vertical, we would be at 240, but we're doing 216, and so yeah, that cuts off a few tiles, for sure.
Yeah, just saying that apparently you would already lose those on the next one, yes, anyway.
Right, exactly, and that's why I was okay with that decision. Here, hold down the fort for me for a second. I'll be right back, just a minute.
Okay. Yeah. Couple of examples, I think, were Mega Man 9? I think 9, yeah. As a boss that uses the entirety, like the entire length of the screen vertically. We have like 4 or so rows of a fortress boss firing at you. It's climb up. That then would not be fully possible in NES. Probably would lose the topmost or bottommost one. Or have to cut it into the edge of the screen. I'd like to see that actually, how it would play out. Like, render maybe with 9 or 10 on the CRT. That'd be funny. Wonder if that actually might be possible with his setup. Guess I'll ask later. Yeah, he's taking way too long to get back. And here we go, dead air in 3, 2, 1. And it would be nice if we change the image or something else. I mean, it's just kind of showing the same thing over and over again. Well, at least it doesn't pixel wobble anymore. Yeah, I'm a limit here. I will say, when I tried the build for what he's showing right now on my actual screen, I wasn't really sure on the difference. And blown up to full screen, the extra bit of blurriness does bother me a little bit, but
Alright.
I don't know if you noticed it while watching.
What bothers you? Hurry up, Tim's
What? I'm saying the blurriness on Interpolation might bother me at full screen. I wasn't really sure if it does yet.
At full screen, if you got like 720, then you won't like, or like 1080, you won't even see it.
Yeah.
Anyway, here is Mega Man X. Let me get to this.
Or it's side by side emulator shot, or a release collection.
This is a real Super Nintendo. So
yeah, I mean, put it side by side.
Oh, I will. We gotta take some screenshots though. I'm just trying to think, like, where's a good spot to take the screenshot here?
Not this stage.
Yeah, that's
probably
what I'm
when
thinking.
Object like this part here actually.
This might not
you
be
see the
too bad, because
because you see the lanterns or whatever, the lamppost going into the sky.
Yeah, and you can see there's clearly a little line on the bottom here, right?
Yeah.
So let me adjust the picture to view like what I see in the CRT. It's a little bit off. Now I got it at 1.5. I got it at 5x here, and so I can adjust the screen here. The CRT actually shows slightly more. But
you might want to cut out the bottom banner on the stream for a bit.
What?
Remove the bottom banner on the stream.
You're right. I actually don't have a scene with that. Hold on.
GG. It's the raw gameplay, man.
Yeah, let me see. Like, copy it here. Copies. Go here. Paste. There we go. Okay, you're right. You're totally right. They couldn't see the bottom there. So you do see clearly a line at the... Is it okay? Oh no.
I'm just kind of wondering what you were saying about the stretch pixels, right?
Yeah, Super Nintendo has them too.
But they're not in this current image?
They are, yes. Yeah, absolutely.
They are?
Yep.
Okay.
Here, let me turn the filters and stuff off.
I'm just wondering how much they actually lend to the whole CRT look.
They actually do a lot of work for sure. They really do. Okay, so here's
you may be able to add scale lines, but
motion adaptive. Let me do. Is it +3? Yeah, do +3 here to sharpen it up a little bit. Let's see. This is a RetroTink 5X, by the way, if anybody's wondering. It scales up the old console images up to the
You're
screen.
seeing this on an actual CRT right now? Well,
Yeah, I got the signal split.
okay, so question is first horizontally on what you are seeing. How far can you see on the actual television?
It's pretty close. Actually, you see the door handle on the car over there? I can almost see to the end of the door. So like the last pixel line, the last vertical pixel column of glass on the window, I can't see on the CRT.
Can you see the green on the left of the white yellowish road line?
The end of the road line is like there's maybe half of the distance between the edge of the screen to the road line is cut off. It's actually really close to full size.
Maybe 2 pixels here.
2 pixels? Yeah, like 2 or 3 pixels are missing off the CRT.
Not much.
Yeah, it's not much. Not for this game, at least.
Is there a way to measure it? Okay, look at the bottom left.
Yeah.
You see the indent on the road on the actual stream.
The indent?
Yeah. You see the last indentation?
Yeah, I see the last pixel of it. So the highlight part, the bright column. Yeah, so it's only like 2 pixels.
I can confirm I'm seeing 2 pixels here, so you're losing only 1 pixel on that.
Yeah, okay, so that's pretty tight.
And on the right side, how much can you see there? Because right now I'm seeing 2 pixels of light.
The right side, I'm missing 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 pixels on the right side.
So are you seeing that whole third indentation?
The third indentation.
Yeah, you got those 3 stripes in a row, right? That bottom right.
There are 4 columns missing from the right side. So 4 pixels are cut off on the right.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, that would mean you can't see the third stripe.
The third stripe. I don't know what you mean by that. But...
At the bottom section of the road, you have 3 darker sections.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, okay, that's what you mean. Yeah, I cannot see the third stripe. Correct.
So how much of the green part pops out can you see?
It looks like very close to almost all of it. So maybe missing 1 column off of it.
So can you see 1 line vertically and then 3 pixels next to it? Or the L shape?
Yeah, essentially. That's what it looks like, yeah.
So you're only missing the darker section?
It looks like it.
Yeah, so you're missing 3 pixels on the right and 1 pixel on the left.
Yeah.
In that case.
Roughly.
On the left side you can see the L-shaped highlight, right?
I can see the last pixel of the L-shaped highlight, yeah.
Yeah, you're missing 1 pixel on the left, 2 on the right.
Yeah. Yeah, analog's weird. Sometimes it does shit like that.
Okay, but that's 4 pixels of the whole image.
If I go here to... shit, where is it? I can actually show you what the... Here it is, the sampling. If I do this NES, or SNES, I think that still looks oblong, doesn't it?
What you had before, look at when it jumped for a second, that looked exactly like how you described it.
I don't know. It doesn't look quite right when I.
You had one earlier that looked good.
This is apparently supposed to be the 1-to-1 scaling.
No, it actually shows more.
It's about the same. It doesn't look right though. If we do.
Yeah, you're still seeing the same thing. It's just they're stretching the image.
This is 4x scale.
No signal. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, it'll come back in a minute. This is 4x scale. So this is 1080p, but it's at 4x because they call it 1080p under because 1080p would be 4.5. So you've got 1080p over, which is 5x, and 1080p under, which is 4x.
Do you have like the ability in XSplit to like add a black bar over the image?
What do you mean?
Like you just overlay something dark and just remove those pixels? from the stream?
Not really. That'd be a real pain in the ass.
That's right.
Um,
Because whatever you're seeing in the CRT, you can't match here because of how. It's because of the remotes.
well, yeah, because this is taking the raw signal in, so you don't have the ability to like cut off the sides or anything. I mean, every CRT is a little different too, so like there wouldn't be like a generic setting for that, right? It'd just be a little different.
That would mean that the Super Nintendo is rendering 252 in width.
I guess. I don't know. Yeah,
You lost 4
change. Yeah, you're gonna lose signal here for a second. I'm gonna try to get it back to 1080p over. Oh, that's 720.
I mean, you lost 4 pixels in the overall
overall
width.
That one. I don't like that resolution, whatever it was. Well, I don't like that one either. I hear it skipping. What's this one? 540p. What the hell is that? I can only cycle through them, so it's kind of a pain in the ass. Alright, so here, this is fill. This is 1080p fill. I'm gonna take a screenshot of this through XSplit, right? And then I'm going to do one at over and then under, and then you can compare them. So, or actually, I'll do fill and over. So the over is kind of the CRT cutoff simulation. Then you can see exactly how much is cut off. So let me do that quick. Fuck, I don't have. Hold on. I need new batteries for my. I need new batteries for my my wireless keyboard. Hold on, I got them right here. It wasn't responding. Most of the time I set up the stream using a remote desktop, so I don't even like have to use the keyboard. Let's see. Will it work now?
Is the vertical resolution 2 to 4? Being a Super Nintendo? 2 to 4, right?
It's 240 for vertical resolution, but not all games will use it. So right now you're seeing black bars on top and bottom. That might actually just be the game filling those in with black.
Yeah, because what I'm seeing is that the NES actually had a higher resolution than Super Nintendo.
No, they're the same. They're the same.
They're the same?
Exactly the same.
A lot of people are saying 2 to 4 instead of 240.
I'm pretty sure that the signal comes in as 240 though, either way.
And with the black bars?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll count for 240 then.
Alright, I'm gonna switch back and hopefully everything doesn't freak the fuck out. And then we can look at the screenshots. Oh, hold on, sorry. I'm bumping the microphone. I gotta pull the cart back over. Okay.
Just doing the maths on the overscan here, it seems you're losing 4 pixels on any direction. Vertical or horizontal.
Yeah, maybe. I've never, like, super calculated it, but yeah, it was something.
I mean, we lost 4 pixels on the image you described, horizontally. It's a little over 98% of the image still remaining.
Yes. Yeah.
So, if you calculate it for the verticality, that would mean a little.
Here.
Check it again.
There you go. All right.
It's a little less than 4 pixels on the vertical. So in practice, 4 pixels.
Yeah. Can you see here what I got going on?
I'm saying it's a much less effect than you described before.
Well, it depends on the CRT and the signal and all that shit.
But if it was 2 tiles like you described, the light bar would vanish.
Yeah, I guess you've overestimated it then, originally.
Yeah, you're losing 4 pixels. That's it.
Well, and again, the game may not be giving you the full thing here. Also, my CRT is pretty good, so you might get better or worse cutoff on other models.
Yeah, but I wouldn't expect it to be a whole tile or anything.
Maybe? I don't know.
I think a good range where you, I don't know, 4 to 6. 8 at best, maybe, at worst.
Alright, I've written the scales here on the side. So this is the 5x scale. This is what you generally would see with the CRT. And then this is the 4.5x. And this would be essentially the 240 lines scaled directly to the top to bottom. 100%.
Yeah, now can you boot the Legacy Collection?
Alright. Killing me.
Well, yeah, it's just interesting how much we can take for granted compared to the how it originally was.
I'm assuming that they're going to give you the full 240. They'll probably cut off the letterboxing, but I think they'll give you every pixel.
I mean, nowadays it's like they can basically sell you a game and act like it's the original, and have all the fonts changed by Comic Sans or something, and nobody would care.
Yeah, there's more than one game that did that, unfortunately. Okay, so let's...
Until we started getting people making comparisons, and they're like, this GTA doesn't look right.
Alright, let's see if we can get to the same spot here, right? I'm gonna get to the same... Oh yeah, screen size. I've got type 1, whatever that is. I think that fills all the way to the top. Okay. We'll go with type 2, just to make sure we're getting the full size.
It's the biggest match to the what you're showing on.
Oh man, the colors are so different. Holy shit. This is so weird. There's like no contrast in them. It's wigging me out,
how I'm
man.
used to the game.
Oh god, the fucking input delay is terrible. Holy shit. I feel like I'm playing mud. Oh. Alright.
I didn't even notice.
Oh, is it right here?
What are you using?
Right. The wireless Super Nintendo Bluetooth controller. Which I know Bluetooth adds a little bit of delay, but it's mostly the emulation that adds a delay here. So yeah, we're right here. This
More
is
to the left.
essentially it. Yeah.
More.
No. Just 1 pixel. There you go. There's the, well, let me get Mega Man to go to the right side, or facing the right direction. Here you go. So, I guess I'll just take a picture of this. I don't go. No?
Looks about the same, actually.
Hold on, it won't let me take a screenshot. It's being a piece of shit. Wow, they actively like stop you from taking screenshots of it. All right, fuck you.
Yeah, I know. Take the snipping tool.
I couldn't use the snipping tool. It wouldn't go.
It works.
All right, whatever.
It works. I know it works. It's just that you need to do some fancy alt tabbing tricks.
Oh. Well,
I've been here and it works, Mark.
okay, well you fucking do it then. You boot it up and you sent me the goddamn screenshot. Fucking hell! What a piece of shit. God damn it! I fucking
just have it open side by side. I can tell on stream what it is.
Okay. Fuck. What is it? I'll move it off just a little bit. Let me move this as far as it'll go. And
Zoom in a little bit of nice probably be nice.
what's that?
Yeah. A bit of a zoom in nice probably would be nice.
Sure. You may not see everything, but
No, as long as you can see both black bars.
it's not quite. The problem is this is gonna get obscured. One of them's gonna get obscured. That's why I really wanted to take an image of it.
The only thing that's On the horizontal, it's about the same now, I think. It's the vertical where the emulator is more.
Yeah, there's like 1 pixel vertical on top and bottom here. But this is the 5x. Here, let me pull this one up.
The lamp is about the same. Just 1 pixel more.
Okay,
it's the bottom part.
In 4.5, they're exactly the same.
Yeah.
Exactly the same. So if we see there's like what? Like 2 or 3 pixels on the left? If we look here, yeah, there's about 3 pixels on the left. Yeah, so this is exactly the same as a 4.5 scale. So they did their homework, they did their due diligence. The colors are a little weird, but
blues are a little bit richer, by the way.
The what?
The blue color is a little bit richer.
Oh yeah, for sure. The whole thing is, if you look at them side by side, the contrast rate.
I don't think it's that bad. It's just mostly on the truck.
I don't like the. It's really the dark colors here are very light in the Legacy Collection versus the original. I mean, on a CRT, it looks even better.
I was saying it's not that bad. It's
I don't like it.
On the stream, I can barely tell the difference side by side. Just the car.
Yeah, when I'm looking at the stream, it looks, it's kind of interpolated. It looks a bit closer, but yeah, it's definitely not.
I mean, the CRT effect, they can't really help that part.
What I'd like to do is, let me turn the screen size to type 1, and yeah, it's a perfect scale from top to bottom. They're doing the 4.5 scale.
Yeah, so basically between the emulator here and the actual rendering of your television, of the stream,
it's pretty fucking close.
The only thing we're losing is the 4 pixels from the overscan.
Now, the thing you have to remember though, this black bar up on top and bottom is also part of the overscan.
Yeah.
The emulator just decided to cut it off because nothing's getting shown there. But you are definitely, all this space could be something in other games.
In other games, yeah.
Yeah. But it
so
just
here,
in this particular case, it's not
helping.
Yeah. Now the CRT, the CRT shows almost all of it from top to bottom, but in the 5x scale, it actually cuts a little bit more off top and bottom than I see.
Yeah, you shouldn't be at 5x though. That makes sense. You're overshooting it by a margin.
Right. The 5x is as close as the closer that you see to the CRT. My CRT shows maybe like 3 or 4 lines in total, a bit higher than the 5x, but it's really close.
Yeah, how much do you see vertically on your CRT? Do you see the horizontal line on the road?
I do see this, and I see maybe 3 pixels below it, and then up here, I probably see about 3 pixels up on top, so probably about six total missing from the 5x scale here. But I mean, 3 pixels ain't shit on top and bottom. It's fun.
I mean, for overplaying it, it's decent.
Yeah.
So you lost 4 pixels from the overscan, and then the blowing out the 5 times, you lost a bit more. Still not too bad.
Yeah, you definitely lose like 3 or 4 off the overscan for sure. So let's see, this is like 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's probably, the CRT probably cuts off like around here on this line.
Can you actually run the Legacy Collection on CRT?
I could if I wanted to. It'd be a weird thing to set up, but yeah, I totally could. I don't think it would be a valid comparison though.
I'm kind of wondering how would Mega Man 9 run?
Oh, Mega Man 9? Yeah, you could get that on a CRT. Sure.
So what I was saying while you were away for a second there's that one particular boss in one of the games, where you have the 4 different floors, and you have to shoot the first across.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Now you could modify. You could apply a mod to Mega Man 9 on the Wii to make it, I think, to force it into progressive mode. And if you do that, then it probably looks okay. But you know what? Even if it was in interlace mode, it would still be okay. It would still be alright. You'd still be able to see it. Yeah, if it's Mega Man 9 that you'd want to see in a CRT, I could do that immediately. But like you can't see it, so like I don't know. I don't think I have a save file that's that far along anyway.
Yeah, not far. But what I know of 9, when we got the initial demo, Blockman stage, Concrete stage, people actually took Mega Man 4.
Yeah, and modded it.
And ROM hacked it.
Yeah.
Into 9. And that was actually pretty damn accurate.
Oh yeah, yeah. I would imagine
like
they use the proper screen size and all that. But see, we have Legacy Collection 2 has 9 in it, right?
Oh yeah.
I'm kind of curious. I mean, we should. Those games are pretty grid-like. We should be able to see if they're cutting anything off from top and bottom if we just look at it. Why did you go full screen? Fuck off. What? It won't? Wait. Okay, it's fucking all my windows up. Thanks a lot. Oh, and it blew up. Cool.
Thanks.
Oh, it killed Unity. It just killed Unity. All my fucking Unity things are blown up. Great. Thanks, game.
So the game runs in Unity?
No, all my Unity instances. I had the 3 windows open. Alright.
Oh, wow. That's why you save often.
I'd like to do a comparison, but apparently I fucking can't. Whatever. We'll just do it full screen. I'll just leave the fucking bar off, I guess. Pain in the ass. Mega Man 9. Alright. Load up. Push any button. Interestingly, there's a black border on the sides here, which is unusual. I don't know, Concrete Man, right? Yeah.
They might have wanted to keep the feel of the NES-ness.
Oh, there it is.
Right.
Okay, screen is full. If we do original, what's that look like? Oh, weird. Okay, yeah, you can clearly see the block here. They're not cutting anything off. You can see the whole tile, the whole block. Shit, what is... So if we go to full, I'm going to assume that it's going to be the same. Yeah, you can see the whole tile on the bottom. They're not cutting shit off. Oh, I keep forgetting you can't charge in this game. God, I hate this game.
You don't.
I hate it, but there's no charge, and
you want to keep holding the weapon all day long?
Oops. Oh, fuck me.
How does the scan lines look?
Oh, is there scan lines?
I don't know. You have a CRT, right?
No, I didn't know there was scan lines here. Well, there says filter. I don't know if that's scan lines.
saying, how does it look in the actual TV?
Oh god,
is that scan line?
Is that supposed to be scan lines? Oh god, that's terrible. Every TV looks different with their scan lines, so it's kind of hard to compare.
What I'm saying is, this is basically the game.
These scan lines look fucking terrible, though. Yeah, these scan lines are terrible.
I'm saying, what does the actual television do for this game?
Well, here's the thing. Mega Man 9 and 10 run an interlaced 480i on the Wii. Yeah. So, there are no, like, normal scan lines for it. It gets weird because it's interlaced. God, fuck this game. Holy shit. How the fuck are you supposed to beat this game? I don't know how I did it.
But does it actually look like a proper NES game on your CRT?
Sort of. It's interlaced though, so it's weird. It's all flickery.
Huh.
Yeah, you'd have to see it to understand what I mean exactly. But it's not. It's weird. I mean, I could show you the raw feed of the video, but it doesn't really. Doesn't really. I don't know. It's not quite the same.
And if you boot a Legacy Collection 1, it will look good.
Well, it's running in progressive here, so it's fine. But on the Wii, it runs interlaced. There's no 480p version. The Xbox and the Legacy collections run at progressive, but the Wii original does not. It runs at interlaced.
Are you... I guess you can't see a loss because you still have the borders to deal with, right?
Huh? What do you mean?
When rendering this on the CRT, you would have to render the border as well, right?
The border as well.
The border of the collection.
Oh, if I were to take... I don't have to. I have the Wii. I could just boot the Wii up and play it on the CRT.
Okay.
But, well, yeah, if you use a 280 or a 240p downscaler, like the RetroTink can do that. It's kind of a convoluted setup, but you can do it. I've tested it. Then you wouldn't see the outside. I mean, you would only see the center. They centered the image, and whatever's in the center is what you get sent to the TV, and that's it. So you wouldn't see the borders because they'd be off screen anyway, because it's only 240p. But it does scale things properly when it goes down. It just takes a sample of like every so many lines and turns that into a sharp image, and it sends that through. It looks alright. It's okay. I played Pocket Fighter EX a little bit on it. So it was kind of neat. But it's convoluted. You've got to... It outputs HDMI, so then you've got to go from HDMI, then back to component, and then... Like, you have to do... Yeah, you've got to take the HDMI from the computer and turn it into component so that you can feed it into the 5X, and then fuck me. And then you've got to take the output HDMI and then reconvert it back again to component and then feed it into the TV. It's a real fucking hassle, but it does work. It's kind of cool. It does work.
You know, they have this whole stage working in on an NES ROM.
Yeah, I don't see why it wouldn't.
Not the enemies.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see any reason it wouldn't. The height of the screen looks right. You won't see all of it on the CRT, but, you know, that's just how the games are.
Meanwhile, Inti did go record saying that it wouldn't work on actual NES, so it gets pretty close. It's probably the big bosses where the things break.
Yeah, I was gonna say, they're probably giving a blanket statement there. Most of it probably would, but there's definitely gonna be edge cases where, like, certain big bosses that they just don't care to, you know, follow the guidelines strictly, and that's fine. It's all right. Nobody's really gonna notice. It took us a long time to even find an example of anything from the game that, or was it 9 that we looked at? It took a long time to find an example from the game where it, like, it didn't work. God damn it. There. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. 10 is probably somewhere. It says press any button, but I did press start and it didn't do anything. This fucking game, man. I don't know. Sheepman's probably got a lot of square-looking blocks. Let's take a look at his. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it looks like the same scaling. Which I expect. Because it's... God damn it, you can't charge. Fuck, I hate it.
Why? Why do you need to charge?
Because charging's cool. Why would you go backwards? Why would you go backwards?
Select Mega Man.
Oh, yeah, I don't want to. Mega Man should have charge and slide. It's bullshit. Why would you go backwards mechanically? Fuck me. Cursor enemy? Yeah, it's the old fucking... I'm surprised Clippy's not in the game. She goes, I heard Clippy from the other room. Yeah, I'm surprised he's not in here. This is the fucking Windows 95 level. Shut up! She says, it looks like you tried to GABA. Did you mean to ghoul? Yeah, this looks, they're using the same scale here. So, it's alright. It's a 4.5 full view here. It's alright. It's what I expected out of it. I don't know, anyway. I don't feel like playing this game. How do I... Fuck. Okay, here we go. God, the controls are so weird. What? They're weird, like... Like, L2 is the open menu or something? I don't know, whatever. It's pissing me off.
Playing this game, why do you have L2?
I'm just trying to get to the menu. To get to the menu to get the fuck out of there. Whatever.
Alt F4.
What's that?
Alt F4.
Yeah, I guess I could have. Anyway, whatever. You notice how Legacy Collection 2 is not installed? LOL. Or the X1 rather. I don't know. Anyway, yeah.
You don't like X? You don't like those games?
Not really. The X series might as well just ended with X4.
Finale of the series, X5.
I like the story in X5. I don't like the game. And X6 is terrible. And X7 is fucking dog shit. And X8 is like, it's okay.
You can play the epic series to the epic finale. Sequel to the epic finale. And then you can play the soft reboot that everybody hates.
Anyway, alright. We got fucking stun locked on this resolution shit.
And then you can play the edgy sequel to the soft reboot. It's actually good.
Yeah. Hold on.
Either which way, we learned that we're losing maybe a few pixels. That's it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Actually, really not as bad.
No, it's not that bad. Now again, my CRT is pretty good. The overscan's not very deep on it, but some CRTs are deeper than that. So it kind of depends on the model and what you got. They're not all made equal.
Just curious how you lost stuff on the right side.
Look, analog signals are weird. That's all I can tell you. It's a real Super Nintendo with a real CRT. I don't know. It just is what it is.
Yeah. Just would make sense with why Capcom plays the light bars the way they are.
What's that?
I guess boss light bars on the right side, right?
That's correct, yeah.
Wow.
It wouldn't be close enough to the edge, so they get cut off. They push them in for a reason.
They're one tile in on either side.
The boss light bars are more than one tile. Right? Nice. I mean, here, it's a whole... Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking 1 pixel. You're right. That's about 1 tile in. Yeah. Plus, you know, the 4 or 5 pixels to get to the actual bar itself. So, yeah, that's a pretty good margin. I think they're pretty safe there. I mean, even if you didn't see, like, the first couple pixels, you could still see the light bar. Like, it'd still be visible on the side. So there's no danger there, for sure.
They thought it true. They thought it true.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's why I said they accounted for that stuff. They they weren't fucking around. They definitely accounted for that. There you go. Nice sharp, even pixels. I think the interpolation could be a little bit better. Did you still see a slight bit of shimmer? I don't know if you can get rid of it, you know, completely. I think you might always have a little bit of shimmer, but I think it looks pretty good. I think it's pretty nice. So, do we want to go to the next level? I want to see the CRT filter.
We have a next level?
Yeah. Well, not level, but you know what I mean.
It sounded like it.
So I go to View Frame Plus, and I turn the. You can't see it so much when it's zoomed out, but there's the scan lines. They'll get better in a minute. Don't worry. Just hold on. And now you see how dark it gets. That's why, and I'm not telling you necessarily, you know about it, but the audience here, there is a color correction to boost the brightness on the CRT profile. Oh god, that looks strange. Like parts of the screen are missing. Is that right? That's weird. What happened? Am I using the wrong one? Oh god, that one's fucked up. I guess I'm using the right one. What if we do 16:9? What does it look like?
Where'd you get JoJo modes from?
Oh, I guess I must have been just fucking around with the hue shift here on this one. This is a different profile. Oh, wait. Oh my god, never mind. No, it's fine. I was thinking, geez, my head's in the wrong place. I forgot that version of the project doesn't have the HUD. I was expecting the HUD. I'm like, where'd the HUD go? Did it like overscan it off the side of the screen? But no, it's fine. It's all right. So let me bring this up to 1080. Well, let me maximize it first. So you can see here, it works out pretty good, even though it's not a complete scale. But the scan lines look pretty nice. And then you get the kind of softer pixel edges with the bilinear filter in there. Actually looks decent. Like it doesn't look exactly the same, but it's decent enough that you get a nice effect out of it. Kind of the pixels get a.
Oh, you're saying
the rounding on them.
You're saying we can't have any special lights and whatnot, so we just have to darken the image with scan lines.
Yeah, there you go.
For the mode. Yeah, I get you.
I think it looks actually really nice with the scan lines. I think it looks accurate enough. I think that it'll please most people, and it really adds that sort of texture to the image that you really get out of the CRT. It's really nice. I think it looks incredibly good for what it is, and it may only get better from here. But it actually doesn't use the new interpolation. I mean, I could apply the new interpolation to it, but the soft one actually works better for this in this case. In this here, if it's too sharp, like it looks okay, and certainly I'll leave the option for it if you want it, but it doesn't look quite right when it's sharp like that to me. It's okay, it's not bad, but I prefer the soft look with the CRTs. I think that looks the most authentic that we have right now. You know, I'm not saying that it looks necessarily authentic, but it looks as close to authentic as you're gonna get. But I think it looks pretty cool. I think it looks really nice. At 1080, if you're at 1080p, then the scan lines are very even. They're very nice. Everything looks really nice and even. Because it's interpolating, you know, at an even scale at that point. So this would be 1x. It's a little bigger, you know, than the screen here because we're an editor, but that looks really nice. And when it moves, it's very crisp. Really like it. I think it's really nice. So obviously we're gonna have those options in there to go with that. So I'm really happy how this came out, especially the sharp interpolation, because that'll be what most people want to see. You know, I don't think most people want to go right for the CRT filter. That's kind of the old man option. You know what I mean?
Boomer.
Yeah, it's the boomer option. I think it really adds a lot to the game, though, to see it like that. But goddamn, if you ever tried to take footage of it and like put it on like a video or something, like Twitter would maul the shit out of these scan lines. Like you wouldn't even be able to see them. The video compression would just completely fuck it. So when we do trailers, we'll just have to do it in sharp. I think it was really nice. I'm really happy with it.
So you're coding the game in C#.
Uh-huh.
But you really want to be coding the game in C scan lines.
What? What kind of joke is that? C scan line.
That's right, make it dot.
The NES ran off of assembly, so that
That's
was
Liberty Path Mark.
I get it. Yeah. Right. Looks cool though. You can see the tube bend I applied to the filter too here a little bit harder. Some CRTs show that more than others, like the flat ones. You don't really get that, but the old rounded screen ones, you definitely get a bit of that.
So what you're saying is you just want a widescreen CRT.
Yes, they do exist actually. I used to have one until a thunderstorm killed it. A lightning bolt hit near the house, and the thing never turned on again. I was so mad. It was really good. Looked really cool. But you still got the overscan issues and that kind of stuff. I mean, CRTs aren't perfect for sure. I think they're perfect for old games, in a way. But they definitely have their drawbacks to them. Like, the lighter the screen gets, the more the screen zooms in. It's really weird. And then when the screen gets darker, the screen actually shrinks. The image on the screen shrinks. It's really stupid. That's the thing I hate the most about it. Well, I hate that effect. But the color contrast is top notch. The old games look nice because of the filtering, you know, inherent to the technology. Especially the N64. Holy shit, that thing was built to take advantage of like the way that CRTs specifically render, and then if you don't look at them on a CRT, they look terrible.
We tried playing PS1 games lately.
PS1 games survive better than N64 games, but yeah, it's the same kind of deal though. They look so much better.
Have you seen how Final Fantasy looks?
Well, yeah, I was gonna say the low res helps too. If you could view Final Fantasy like say 9 in low res without the CRT filter, it'd still look pretty good. Like I said, you need that sort of consistent pixel unit, I think, for it to really get sold. But
I mean, Final Fantasy 9 is so blurry.
Depends on what you play it on, but yeah.
If you buy their actual game on Steam, it's a blurfest.
I guess, I don't know. I've only ever seen Final Fantasy 9 on a CRT. I've never played it on its on Steam or anything else.
Like, you need to fan mod to make it look good.
That's what I've heard. Yeah, I think you're the one that mentioned that too. Oh, I made this. Look at all the fancy control panel I made for this thing. It's super fancy and automated, and it's really good. And you can hide the advanced options so you don't touch them, because you shouldn't touch them, because this will screw it up if you mess it up. Yep, I do not play any PS1 Final Fantasies on a flat screen. You're gonna have a bad time. Yep. That's for sure. The only one I've seen on a flat screen, like an LCD, was Final Fantasy VII, because I played the PC version. I don't know. It's all right. It definitely looks better in CRT.
Of course, as far as the mass public, general public is concerned, no. playing Final Fantasy 7 nowadays, it looks like full HD 3D graphics and
Oh yeah, the remake for
real-time
sure.
action.
No one will play anything else ever again.
That's just how they remember the game now.
Oh, for sure, yeah. That's how you always saw it in your mind as a kid anyway, so it's fine. Yeah, anyway, so...
And all the turn-based fighting was actually real-time all along.
Yeah. Here's one thing, I actually got the, a real-time resolution changer for the actual core image. It gets a little weird. It's not exactly like... Unity renders weird. Let's just put it that way. It's not exactly like you're cutting it down pixel by pixel. But you're actually changing like the Unity unit size of how big it gets rendered as. So it's interesting. I wouldn't use any kind of dynamic scaling in this game, but certainly for like a 3D game or a high-res 2D game, you might want to use a dynamic scale to keep the game like high-res, even when it's scaling here. It looks so weird like that. Anyway, whatever, you get the idea. So that's how all that works. I need actually some water. I ran out, so hold on, I'll be right back.
Oh no.
Hold on, just a second. Just a second.
Yeah, he's getting better. But at least the image moves. Back and forth, back and forth. I'm just kind of looking around for Final Fantasy 7.
Okay.
Since they're releasing the new MOBA game. You heard about it, Mark?
MOBA game? Oh,
Mobile.
Mobile?
Yeah.
Who?
The second remake of Final Fantasy 7.
Oh, that one. Yeah, it's... I don't know. It's only like a highlight reel. So it's not like a full remake, apparently. It's just kind of like the best of Final Fantasy 7. It's just like certain clips cut out of it. It's like just a clip show.
Yeah, so you just get select scenes of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you remember this thing from this game?
I wish it was just a full-up remake, because then the people who wanted the turn-based remake get that, and then the people who wanted the action remake get that. That would have been much better, I think. But that ain't what we got, so... whatever. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of Final Fantasy VII. I like the characters in the world, but I never liked the original game. Like, it just takes so long to load. Yeah, I have to play the remake. It's money, and I don't have a PS5. So.
Nothing wrong with the original game, because the intro is a bit long.
Once it comes to PC, then maybe I'll think about it.
Still waiting.
Yep, we will be for a while. That would have been expensive, plus Square would kill it at some point and the game would be lost to time. Yeah, it would be expensive, but not as much as like the PS5 remake. Because the mobile version is, cut down visually or whatever. It kind of looked like a high-res version of like the chibi overworld style. Which is cool. I think that'd be alright. As long
as
they
did something like the 15, actually. They have a version of 15 where they did that.
Really? But it's not the whole game, it's just...
Oh, it's the whole game.
It's the whole... Wait, what?
They have a mobile version of 15 that plays like the... top down and everything with 3D graphics.
Full, complete game.
Yeah, look it up. Final Fantasy 15 Android.
Okay. No, I'm not looking it up. I'll take your word for it, but...
Jeez.
Fucking, I don't know. Anyway, getting stun-whacked. Let's move on here. Before I decide to keel over.
It's literally called Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition.
That's weird. It's cool, but it's weird. Didn't they release it on the Switch or no? I don't know. That'd be cool though. Pocket Edition. All right, let me
Yep, Switch release.
Let me explain how happy I am. I got this fucking thing to work earlier in the day.
Send you a link, by the way.
Oh, okay. Alright, we'll look at it for a minute here. Hold on. I'm getting fucking stun locked on all this fucking bullshit. Can't get out. Oh, it's a trailer. Oh, okay, yeah, we can watch that.
The decreed hour is come.
Oh god, what? It looks so weird.
The gods.
The eyes are just so, like, faded out. Oh.
Insomnia.
What is wrong with his face?
This your idea of a joke?
There was an attack.
Oh, this is ugly as shit.
The
Holy
Imperial
fuck.
Army has taken the crown city.
This does not have
It's
any
been
of the...
game.
The
Does
reports of the
not have
invasion
any of the
say,
charm of, like,
how could every
4
headline
remake.
can be wrong?
In the wake of the news of King Regis's death,
The armor dudes look alright. Yeah, they look like bird people. Yeah, right? Right? Dude, those environments are terrible. Where's the
The
color?
whole truth.
Well,
You know where to find me.
this is awful. Dude, I swear to God, the fucking DS remake of 4 looks better than this. Dude, it's so dull. Like, the characters are so colorful, and then the environment is, like, just completely devoid of, like, saturation. It's so weird. Oh, a whole crowd of people. Look, that was rendered in real time, too. God damn. Getting fancy now.
But they did the whole game like this.
It's so weird. Wait, why? Oh, because it's on Switch, right? Yeah. Wait, it's an action RPG though still?
Yeah.
It's not turn-based. Wait, hold on. I might actually play it now. Hold up. That's amazing, actually. What the hell? I thought it was a turn-based.
No.
I think it actually would have been a little cooler if it was turn-based. Pocket Edition HD, yeah. And all the bird people gory. Big old fat chocobo, look at that big boy. There, he's a happy boy. Alright.
They took the effort to do that. Like, huh? Just make a whole second game.
That's surprising. Why didn't they do it for 7? I don't know. Whatever. That's fine. It would look better. Oh, chat said it would look better if they made it with the Switch in mind. Yeah, it was just made for Android first, I guess. That makes sense. It's fine. Whatever.
And that was a few years back, so imagine that's why.
It'd be nice if they didn't look like bird people, but yeah.
But you know, Square does weird shit sometimes. Like,
Yes.
one of the Dragon Quest games, they actually have the entirety of the game running on old school Super Nintendo mode.
Yeah, I saw that. I forget which one it was. But wasn't it a remake of the Super Nintendo game? So that made sense.
I don't know, 2011 or something.
I don't know. Whatever. Look, I don't play.
They basically made it such that, you know, both games could be run 1-to-1. That's very weird.
Yeah. What was it now? Halo 2 did that. Where the original, in the Halo 2 HD collection, or the Halo HD collection, whatever it was, Halo 2, it was running both the games at the same time. It was running the original and the new version at the same time, and you could switch between them in the menu to see the difference between the original and the remaster. I thought that was really cool. It was really neat.
Reminds me what Wonder Boy was doing.
Yeah, it's the same thing with Wonder Boy, right? It's the same exact effect, but you could just kind of switch between them. That's pretty cool. They did a 2D remake of the last Dragon Quest for the 3DS, while the HD versions were on the PS3 and 360. That's crazy! Then the Switch version had both of them available. Oh, maybe that's one you were talking about.
Could be.
That's really cool, actually. That's funny. The the 3DS, the premier 3D virtual reality console, and they make the 2D version on that. It's hilarious, actually. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. Hold on. Maybe. Is it going away? Okay, it went away. We're safe. It's alright. Alright, let me talk about the thing that we worked all day on and suffered for.
Suffer.
Yeah, alright. Get ready. This is getting into the weeds here, but I'm not gonna explain the whole thing. I'm like way too tired to explain it, all the intricacies of what's going on. If you're a Unity developer and you're like me and you've been frustrated to hell and back, you know that there are 3 functions that start up an object. You have awake, you have onEnable, you have start. And when you create an object, awake gets called first, onEnable gets called second, and start gets called the first time it updates. Alright, that's fine. Whatever. It's okay. The problem is, if your object is disabled, like this one is, see, I turned it on, it's highlighted, turn it off, it's not highlighted. Those functions don't actually do anything until it's turned on. So even though awake happens before everything else, if your object is off when the scene loads or when you create it from a prefab or whatever, it will never run awake until it's turned on. Why is that a problem? What if I want to make an enemy that activates when you get close to it, but the enemy is deactivated and turned off, literally deactivated, until you get near it? Well, how is it supposed to know when you get near it if you can't update or run anything or initialize anything? I need to set the enemy up and get them ready to be activated, but I can't do that because awake never gets called if the thing is turned off. So I had enough. I finally had enough, and I said, I'm gonna make my own goddamn awake with blackjack and hookers, and it's going to fire off whether it's turned on or not. And boy, was that a fucking adventure, because Unity wants to do everything in its fucking power to prevent you from doing that. Like, I don't know, intentionally or not, they just don't want to add that functionality. People have been asking for like 10 years for that functionality to get put in. They'll never do it at this point. I don't know why. I don't understand the logic behind it. It would be so helpful to be able to have an object, be able to set itself up without having to be activated. I mean, sure, you could have it activated and turn it off, but there's a whole host of issues with that too. Do you turn off the individual components? Do you turn off the whole object? What if there's a script in here that doesn't want you to turn it off? What if the script doesn't play nice with being on and then off, and it turns into a fucking mess. So I made what I call pre-awake. It happens before awake. And we'll take a look at that here. And there's some limitations here. Nope, they got money to buy WADA Workshop and their workflows, etc. though. Yeah, like, or Weta? Weta? I thought you said WADA. Weta? Weta Workshop? What's Weta Workshop? I know what WADA is. It's that retro game appraisal shit. It's driving the price of Mario 64 up to like fucking $3 million or whatever it was. How much was it? Was it $1.5 million? I can't remember. What? It doesn't matter. Fuck it. So what I did is I made this thing called pre-awake, and it will run between the time that the object instantiates and between awake, and it will fire off even if the object is disabled. Oh, excuse me, the coffee's coming up on me. How do I water this down? I don't want to explain. It will take like an hour to explain every fucking detail about how this works because it was such a goddamn nightmare to get set up.
Set in tree lines.
Yeah, 3 lines.
So basically, Unity doesn't allow you to check certain things. You found a way around it.
Yeah, there you go. Something like that. Basically
you
what
decided to read the console, right?
What's that?
You had to read the console, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I set up a million fucking functions to figure out when everything ends up like firing off. I just put like a million debug messages in the code to like print out exactly like how things work out, and then to like debug it and stuff. It was kind of fucked up. But here's the shorthand version of it. Between the constructor, you're not supposed to use a constructor in Unity. You can if you're really careful, but you're not supposed to. It's got a lot of caveats. It's really weird. The object gets created like 2 or 3 times sometimes, and it's weird. So the constructor fires off multiple times. I'm not gonna get into all that, but here's the flow of control here. What happens when you instantiate an object? So you do the instantiate, right, under normal circumstances, and then the constructor, like constructor, yeah, the constructor goes, and then awake goes, and then on enable, and then start. Well, when the first, well, we'll leave start off. That's when it first gets updated. But here's the normal stuff. You don't typically want a constructor. You're encouraged not to use one because they're kind of weird and finicky. And here's the problem though. In the constructor, sure, I could put something in the constructor if I want, but the data for the object is not loaded. So if we go here in our example, we're doing an event listener. I'll get into that in a minute. Well, we've got settings here. We've got settings like the invoke is filled out and our shared event, file is selected and all that. If you try to access that in the constructor, you won't see any of it. It'll be completely blank data, because by the time the constructor is going, it hasn't loaded the data. Unity hasn't applied the serialized data to the component. So all this is stored in like a serialized file. So it first does constructor, then it loads the data, and then it goes to awake. So somewhere in the middle here, it does a deserialize, and that just basically means load the data from the file and place it into the object. So what's really interesting about deserialize is you can actually interact with that. You can actually tell it to do something during that. You use this iSerialization callback receiver, and you can get on after deserialize. So once all the data is loaded, it lets you know that all the data is loaded. So guess what I did? I just shoved in call pre-awake. And it does a couple other things here, but essentially it checks to see if you've already run pre-awake. And then it goes through and it says, go ahead, do pre-awake then, sweet. And then you can override this function with whatever you want. So in the shared event listener, it overrides with actually checking the listener, or checking the event and adding the listener to it. And then it sets the value here, so it updates the update code over here with the current version of the shared event. That don't worry so much about that, but the basic idea is like, oh yeah, okay, the data is loaded now. This actually corresponds to something. So let's go ahead and add the listener to it. So okay, cool. So essentially, it now looks like this. You got the instantiation, you got the constructor. This deserialize loads the data. Then we can call pre-awake right after this. And then awake will naturally follow that. And then on enable, only if they're enabled. So let me... There. So these only happen when they're enabled, but pre-awake will go all the time because the serialization data is loaded all the time. Like as soon as the object's made, they put it in and it's fine. That's the basic version of it. And that works okay until you're in the Unity editor and then it doesn't work at all because it's completely fucked up. The Unity editor doesn't follow this flow of commands. It does something completely different, which I don't feel like explaining because it's going to be like an hour discussion. But TLDR, when you here, normally this is under runtime situations. So like when you're actually playing the game, but when you're in the editor, this happens during editor time, and this happens during runtime. It's super fucked up. It will actually have already instantiated, done the constructor, and done your deserialization here up top. And then by the time runtime happens, it actually skips all of these steps because they've already happened, except they didn't happen at runtime, they happened at editor time. So now it doesn't even call pre-awake here. It's weird. It's all fucked up. So we had to do a whole bunch of crazy bullshit to make all of this sync up properly in editor in roughly the same way that it would in a real-time situation. That's what all this shit is for. And I had to check when a runtime initialization on before splash screen, and like I had to queue up the pre-awakes and then do them later, and it was a fucking nightmare. And I also made, as a result of all that, which is really nice, I made a new class to help me figure out if the editor is in play mode or not, because once you hit the play button, the editor is not in play mode. The editor is still in editor mode for a period of time, and then it's in neither mode. The editor thinks that it's outside, like it hasn't transitioned. It's in kind of like a limbo mode. And then at the end, after it's loaded all your scenes and stuff, then it officially goes into play mode. And it's really weird. It's awful. It's terrible. So I built this to help me figure out where the fuck everything is, what mode we're in, and it works pretty good. So here's what I'll say. It's not gonna go and explain every bit of this, but here's what I'll say. This initialization on load is super powerful. This is for editor only. This is not for, you could do a runtime initialization for a normal script to run something, you know, when the game loads, as opposed to like having to instantiate it. Where the hell is it now? This runtime initialization. But there's an editor version of this. But it does more than that. It actually instantiates the entire class and like does shit. So this initialization on load will run this at like the earliest possible opportunity, which is really cool. But you also have other ones too. You got initialization on load method, so you can apply it to a specific method. And there's also one for initialization on enter play mode, which was very important to get this working. Ugh, excuse me. So only when you're in play mode will this one run. But this one will run all the time. It's really cool. So check those out if you need to make like an editor thing. Especially if you got to play with, you know, like analyzing stuff and getting a scope on what's going on as soon as humanly possible that the editor will let you. These are very powerful. So we built this to facilitate an easy way to figure out if you're in edit mode or if you're in play mode. And again, this only works in the editor, so it's like a special editor tool. And that's pretty much it. that's the short version. There's a lot of super detail going on behind the scenes, but that's basically the idea. Like how we synchronized it properly and all that is a fucking nightmare. But it works. It actually works now. The only limitation at this point is that pre-awake happens outside of the Unity thread, which doesn't sound important, but it absolutely is. If you try to access any resources from Unity that actively has to go get data and bring it back, Unity will give you an error. It'll be like, no, you can fuck right off. We're not doing that. Unity wants you to keep everything in its thread. And for good reason, because if Unity's in like the middle of rendering something and you like delete a texture or like fuck with a texture, it could probably crash the entire game. So you don't want to do that. So they kind of create this barrier. And if you even try to access something like that, it will give you an error instead of letting you do it. So that makes sense. Unfortunately, pre-awake is in that kind of like Shadow Realm barrier where it can't really do too much with Unity, but you can do a lot if you cache your components. So like say with an awake, you're like, oh, I want to do a get component on the animator, and then I want to set the animator up to do whatever. You'd have to have cached that reference already ahead of time, and then you might be able to do something with it in pre-awake. But you won't be able to just do a get component here because that's a Unity function to get data out of Unity, and Unity will freak out and it'll give you an error instead. However, since I go ahead and pretty much cache everything humanly possible at build time, that probably shouldn't be too much of an error or issue with that. You can do anything you want really in here, you know, in terms of like just script stuff. You don't have to work with Unity. You know, you could do a private static list. I don't have list. Using system.collections.generic. Like say if you wanted to add every single shared event listener to a list of all shared event listeners. So we'll say all components. Here you could just say add this. That's it. And you know, I mean, that's normal. You can do that with other stuff, but here, whether the power here is this goes even if it's disabled. You can get all components, even if they're disabled, by just doing it in pre-awake. So no matter if it was instantiated, enabled, disabled, whatever, you have all components, period. And you could do them separate too, so all active components. So what you would do here is say on enable, then all active components, add this. Now you have all those. And on disable, all active components. Shut up, Facebook. Remove this. Boom. And there you go. Like it's all set. Now all components are stored, whether they're active or not. And all active components are managed by the on enable and on disable. It's perfect. Like it'll work. It's great. Like this won't error. This is good. I'll prove it. Please don't error. Don't make me look like an asshole. I'm pretty sure it'll be alright. I think we tested this earlier. Okay, and so if we hit it, we shouldn't see any errors pop up. No errors. See?
Wow, it actually works.
It did. Isn't that great?
I'm amazed.
And then now we have a collection of all components and all active components. You can get super fancy and do all disabled components too, but you don't have to. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. And so I'll go over to shared event stuff next, but I just wanted to humble brag about my pre-awake. Dude, like nobody's like really figured out how to do this either that I could tell. I've looked through a forum post for like a year now trying to figure out how to do something like this. I don't think anybody's figured this out. Or if they have, they are definitely not telling anybody. They're not telling anybody how they did it. So I'm particularly proud of this one because it just works. You don't have to have any management system do anything. It just works. It's so cool. That's the great thing about it. A lot of, so like, what was it? Was it Inside? What was the game we were talking about before? Yeah, Inside. I'm pretty sure that's the one. Let's see. YouTube.com. Inside the game. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is it.
Stream 85 plus channels.
Fuck you! No ads. Oh my god, there's so many fucking ads. Get out of here. Dude, I see that one all the time. It pisses me off. Okay, this game, Inside. This game, they did a GDC conference, where they were talking about, I think what they did is they made their own special instantiator. So they made their own special instantiation method, and then that would call their pre-awake. But I don't believe it was automatic. And it was in Unity's thread though, so it was a little more powerful. They definitely had an advantage there. But I don't think it was automated. So like a scene object wouldn't get like touched unless it was, you know, loaded manually through the system. But that was where I first heard of it, and that was the only one I've ever seen explained, you know, how they did it. And this game's pretty cool too. This game happens, there's no loading zone. Like it dynamically loads the game as you go through the whole game. Oh god, he ragdolled. Oh Jesus, is he dead? Oh yeah, he's fucking dead. You killed Billy, what the fuck? I guess just fall damage. Yeah, go back down the other way, I guess. I don't know.
So the walkthrough is saying just jump off the cliff.
Yeah. Yeah, what kind of walkthrough is this? Fucking, this is just a let's play. Ridiculous. Anyway, so these devs are super cool. I learned a lot from their GDC conference. It was really nice. Hello. Yeah, it was super cool. Like their whole thing was like the whole game can be played without loading. It was really nice.
You have to die to make the hole in the floor?
You don't have to die, no. He jumped in after it. But that was the wrong thing to do.
They're safe into it.
Yeah, but if I understand how their pre-awake worked, it was a special method. They would do the instantiate, but then they would just immediately do like they would immediately like hook into it or something. Look at him kicking his legs. It's hilarious.
I love this video.
This game's funny. Yeah, this is good stuff.
How long is this video?
Oh, how long? 2 hours. We're not gonna watch the whole thing.
I mean, I think there's a full game, but it's not really a long game, right?
No, it's an indie game, so it's not too bad. Not
okay.
long.
I see enough.
Yeah. I'm just talking over it. But yeah, they, as far as I understand, what they did is they did an instantiate, and then they did a pre-awake function right after it. Because you can just, you know, do instantiate game object, whatever. You know, you could just do right here, instantiate, and then you give it a prefab or whatever, and then it sends back a game object here. So we'll just say geo. I think you had to say as game object. And then you would send it a prefab. It's mad because I didn't give it a prefab here. That's the original. I think you give it a position and stuff. And I think what they did right after it is they got like their script component or whatever, and then they just ran pre-awake like right after it. So probably most of their prefabs were like disabled by default, you know, or something like that. But whatever. Either way, I got the automated one. It doesn't run any of these threads, so it's a little limited, but kind of can work around it for the most part. Anyway, I'm gonna get rid of these. I don't really need those for this, so we're just gonna kill it. I have the on enable. Honestly, I only have on enable here so I can get the check mark to appear in the editor. Otherwise, it won't go. Okay, so shared events. This might make a little more sense now with shared events being explained. I'm actually really proud of this system. But we just got the pre-awake working, so I need to get the fire events while disabled onto these other variants too. But this is essentially a way to send events between different objects, kind of like remotely, and then it's all asset based. So here, if I press the I key on the keyboard, it will appear the sprite of Lena in the background. Boom. There you go. There she is. Cool, whatever. So what's happening behind the scenes there? Well, the thing that called it was the shared event caller, and the thing that received it was a shared event listener. And here is where the sprite, it tells it to turn it on. I can tell it to sprite render enable, and then I check mark it.
And
for true.
the script to enable this in the object itself.
What's up?
I accidentally stepped on the kitty's foot. She
Oh.
got under my foot as I put it down.
Yeah, they do that. They get right under your feet. What?
Sure.
You want me to turn the light on
Yes,
or
please.
off? Okay. All right. Tim,
Wow.
keep him busy.
Shut up.
No.
Yeah, I know.
Dead air in 3, 2, 1. We'll be right back after this short message from our sponsor. You guys can decide what the sponsor is. Probably Fortnite. It's Fortnite and all the cool stuff Mark likes. Like Street Fighter and Naruto.
All right. I just gotta get her a fucking pole chain so she can reach the light. It's the ceiling frame light.
I just gave everybody the sponsor message.
What?
We're sponsored by Fortnite now.
Responsive what?
We're sponsored by Fortnite now.
Oh, Naruto and Fortnite. Yeah, Jesus Christ. Dude, it's so bad. If you see the videos of the animation of him running, it's so fucking bad. It looks like his arms are just ragdolling behind him. That's hilarious. Anyway. So you had a question, yeah.
Yeah. What I was saying is that Fortnite has all the cool stuff Mark likes.
No, it
Street
doesn't.
Fighter, got Naruto.
It does. You're right. I think it's got Batman now. God, what other fucking games has it absorbed? I can't remember. I don't know. I don't keep up with Fortnite, but anyway, that's not important. Fuck Fortnite. So here, this shared event caller.
Yeah, I had a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was saying, is the script that actually activates that image inside of the same object that's disabled?
Yes, it is. Yeah,
Where
that's
is
this
it
event
showing?
here. This event here. This activates it. So when it gets a signal from the shared event, it'll run the code down here, or the events down here. So it'll send to the log here. It'll send a message, and then it will turn the sprite on.
And then it just toggles the check mark at the top.
For the sprite, yeah. Or well, it actually toggles the one here, the sprite renderer. But it
It turns the whole object on, right?
you could do the whole thing here. What's that?
It turns the whole object on, right?
It doesn't. It just turns the sprite render on. It could change the whole object. Like if I turn the sprite render on, but I turn the object off, and I go here, I could go to game object, and then set active, and I could set it to active here. So now, see they're both off. Now here, if I press I, boom, now it's active. You see it lit up. Yeah, you could do it either way. It didn't really matter so much there. But notice that this object did receive that message from the event, even though it was off, and it's been off the entire time. And that's how the pre-awake helps to set up and make that connection to the shared event, so that even if this was instantiated disabled, or it was just disabled in the hierarchy here in the scene, it can still set itself up and still get ready to receive those messages without having ever been activated. And that's the real power of this. And I can turn off the fire events while disabled. You can see down here, you'll see a couple messages come in, but they're just the shared events invoking, but you don't see the normal listener message show up. But if I then do it with the events enabled again while disabled, then there it is, says normal listener. So it's very, very powerful to do something like this. So let me show here the connection. This shared event object is an asset that you can just create in this system. You just right click, with system, shared event, boom, and you can just hit it. This one's no parameters. And there it is. That's all cool. And then what you can do, then there's two other components. There's a caller that can initiate the shared event. It can tell it to send the message out. And then there's the listener that receives it. And you can change it to a different one if you want. I mean, there's only one here because I only made one, but you could have any number of shared events. And then the caller here, you can change what it is currently on too, but this is the one that fires it. So I just set it up in here that when I press the I key, that it invokes the callers and it calls. So the shared event caller, just .invoke and boom, like that's it. That's all you have to do. It's all ready to go.
Boom.
Yep, boom. And then it sends off the shared event to be triggered if it actually exists. If it doesn't exist, it doesn't do anything. But and then there's one. I got one that takes an integer as a parameter. Another one that takes a Unity object as a parameter. Again, I have to convert these ones over to the pre-awake. But we didn't do that because we literally just finished that before stream. So I'll go ahead and do those probably tomorrow. They'll be very easy to set up. So it's not... Actually, you know what? Fuck it. I'll set it up right now. I'll do it right now. Fuck it. We'll do it live.
We need to start getting into collision more.
Yeah. Yeah, we gotta spend a lot of energy on that. So here, on enable, instead of doing that, we're gonna do protected override void pre-awake. We don't need to do the base here because it's empty. So we're just going to take this and put that there, and that's it. And then on destroy, then we'll actually remove it there, but we don't need to remove it prior to that. We don't need to do it on disable. Only need to do it on pre-awake and destroy. Okay, so we got that. Then we need to edit this one a little bit. So I can just copy that from the one here, I believe. I think it'll be alright. Here, let me just copy the whole damn thing. The only difference is this is a shared event template, so shared event T, and then the other one was just shared event. So I'm just gonna copy it down here, and I'm just gonna get the shared event T, shared event T. That should be alright. And then we'll just remove the original here. Should be alright. Okay, so there is one more thing I do have to do here that I forgot. On the pre-awake, we want to make sure that last event, I'll explain what that does in a minute, gets set to whatever our current event is. That prevents it from accidentally triggering here. So we use the last shared event value to compare against when you're setting this value. We use this one to compare to what's coming in. And if they're the same, we don't want to go through all these steps to remove the listener and reattach the listener. So it's kind of an efficiency boost here. And part of the problem is that we go ahead and on validate, we actually like reset these values and feed the serialized version back into the property. And so then it would come down here. And if it was this value changed, but this was the old value was different, then it would pass this check and then it would go and do the stuff. But if it doesn't, if they're the same, then you don't want to go through all the extra trouble. You can't just compare to this because this actually gets changed in Unity's editor. And then so it would be, oh, is this value the same as itself? And it's like, yeah, of course it is. And then it would like never do anything here when you interacted with the editor. It'd be all kind of weird. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I hope it does. Because you have to keep, you can't have a property like this be serialized. You can't serialize this. So you have to make a second value to basically, and this acts as a proxy for this serialized version of the value. You see that when you get it, it just returns the serialized version. And then when you set it though, you have to be a little more meticulous. So I use a third value to keep track of what this property used to be before this potentially changed in the editor. And this is the value that changes in the editor. But it won't trigger all of this unless you tell it to. And that's why here, the property is getting set to what the serialized value already is. Because it may have changed on validate or reset. So then it feeds it back into itself. It comes through here, and then it compares against the last one that it knew. And then it will go through. It'll unlink from the last one. And then it will set the shared event to the new value, and then it will link to the new one. And then at the end, of course, you have to update the last shared event to the current version. And that's how it works. It's a little convoluted, but it works really, really well. It makes validation centralized so that if I change it in script, it goes through all the steps. If I change it through the editor, on validate forces it back through its own property so that all these steps are met. You could certainly take multiple versions of these. You could copy this into a validation into a validation method, or just copy it down here and unvalidate. That's fine, but if you change something in one copy and don't update the other one, that's bad news. So I like to centralize everything. And that's how that works. It's kind of the way to go, I think so. That way, whether you change it through script with this property, or if you change it through the editor, everything goes through the same amount of steps every time. Anyway, I don't even know why I got off on that tangent, but that's how that one works. So the only other property we need now is this fire events while disabled, and again we're just going to copy it from there to here, and we're going to put it down here. Fire events when disabled. It's same thing. It's set up like the other one. You've got the serialized reference, and then you've got the property. This one doesn't have any special steps. I thought maybe at some point I might need to do something like that, so I set it up in advance. There's really no downside to just doing it this way. There's a imperceptible fucking nanosecond difference between using a property and using the thing directly, but tests have showed that it's so negligible that I wouldn't even worry about it. So while on paper this is technically less efficient to do two values like this, it realistically doesn't matter. Unless you're doing some crazy shit in the get function, then it'll matter. If you've got more than just returning the value in here, then you could run into some issues, but the way it's set up like this, it's no biggie. So here, the invoke proxy, we have to add another thing here. So if, I'm not actually even sure how I set this up. I think I set it up in reverse. Yeah. So if the fire events is disabled, or if the fire events when disabled is turned off, meaning that you can only fire events when enabled, then it will check if it's active or not. Now I did this in reverse for a specific reason. Checking this is active and enabled checks Unity data, and when you check Unity data, you take a performance hit. So I could say, oh, check to see if it's active first, and then check to see if when it's disabled, if it can actually still fire, would be the more human logic way to think about it. But if you check them in reverse, this is only a Boolean. This is like super quick and easy to get. And if this isn't even on, then it doesn't matter to even check whether you're enabled or not, because you would just say no, you're not allowed to fire it when you're disabled. Or I'm sorry, I got that reversed. If you are able to fire events when you're disabled, then it doesn't matter to check the enabled or disabled status. Who cares? Because you can fire them no matter what. So just move on and fire it. And this takes less time to check than this by a huge mile. So if you can avoid checking this parameter from Unity, then by all means avoid checking that one, because this is the performance hit that you're going to take. And this one is not. And then just go on to the next thing, and there you go, you're done. Bada bing, bada boom. And yeah, that's it.
Good job.
Thank you. Assuming that it actually works. Did I go up back top? And yeah, I did add this. So this should be all right. This should work. And we'll find out. We'll turn them on, and we should see extra messages in the command line here, or the console, when these things fire off. So I'm gonna hit I on the keyboard, boom, and we got normal listener, and we got integer 6, which is this one, and we got the object player, whatever, which is this one. So it all worked. There you go, and they're all disabled because the entire object is disabled. Oh, you know what? I didn't add the on enable here to get the check marks. Now it doesn't matter in this case whether they're check marked or not, because the entire object is off. They're just off. But you could do them individually for sure. So let me just copy. I could type this out, but I'm too lazy. I'm just gonna copy this one into here. And again, all this does is make the check mark. Okay, go ahead. So now you'll see the check marks pop up here. And what we can do, we can turn this object on, but we can turn each individual one off here. And you'll see that they'll still work. So if we hit I, boom, we saw that, and we got the normal listener, the int 6, and the object player coming through. And the integer 6 and the object player are coming from these callers. So the caller to the shared event caller integer is going to send this parameter of 6, and the shared event caller object is going to send this prefab through. And that's how I ended up doing those. And that's why when they receive it, it passes the 6 onto here, and it prints the integer up here. And here, it does the print unity object method. So it all works fine. So if now that I turn off these run on when disabled, none of them go. You see the shared event is reporting that it's calling out, but these guys are not responding. So if I turn this one on, oh, I gotta be up here, press it, boom. Okay, now this one's going. You see normal listener, that's the event here. We'll turn that off, turn this one on instead. Oh, there's our int 6, there you are. It's responding accordingly. Turn that one off, turn this one on. And we should see the object player. Yep, and there it is. So how about that? And this is super useful because you can put a shared event on here for like a disabled enemy. And when the event fires, the enemy can turn itself on and go, just to show what that might look like. So I'm gonna turn this off. I'm gonna turn these ones on. It doesn't matter if these are really on or off. But the entire object's out, right? But I'm going to add a sub-object of a sprite, and we're gonna make it Ryu. Sprite renderer first. Sprite renderer. And I got a sprite of Ryu in here, right? So here, we'll make Ryu. Where is he in the scene? Oh, he's not. Oh, because the whole thing's off. Right. I gotta turn him on to see him. Okay, so to transform here, we're gonna move him down. Let's say X is 0. I'm sorry, Y is 0. And then X will move him to the right a little bit. We'll make his sprite bigger, right? We'll do 3 scale. There you go, then you can see it. But we're gonna turn him off, right? He's off. So what I'm gonna do here is when the standard listener comes in, I'm gonna remove the other sprite from turning on. I'm gonna just say myself here, this object. I'm gonna go to game object. I'm just gonna turn it on. So this is a real world, use case for this object is turned off. It has this event listener on it. It will respond even though it's never been on, and it will turn itself on when it's told to. So I'm gonna press the key I, and boom, there you go. Ryu turned himself on because the event came through. Now this could be, enemy appear event or Ryu appear event or whatever this happens to be. If anything calls it, because remember this object is calling it and this object is responding to it, it can just turn itself on and it's ready to go. Super powerful thing. So I'm very glad that I took the time to redo this system. We did have this system, like a very weak version of it in Pocket Fighter EX, but this one is so much better. I can do so much with this now, especially now that they can be fired while they're, or they can receive while they're disabled. It's immeasurably better. It's crazy. Hey, what's
Thursday,
up?
not Monday.
Yeah, where the hell? Where the hell did you go? You missed the whole explanation. Here, I'll show you. I set it up so that there's a sprite of Ryu here, and it's off by default. The whole object's off, and it's gonna listen in, and when one of its commands is to turn itself on. So when we go through here, we hit the button, boom. Now the object has activated itself, and it can do whatever it needs. Like if it's an enemy and it can start to attack, it can do its little animations and do all that.
Yeah. Let's see. That activation didn't happen on my end, so you got to roll us back.
Oh, okay. That's how it works, right? Yeah. But it's super powerful because you can exchange these events in real time. It's so cool. Like, I'm so glad that I went back and redid this system because it's working incredibly well. And yeah, I successfully got these ones going, so they're all set. So like everything's cool. Now I can create new variants if I want. I've only created 2 test variants, and that's one with the integer and one with the object. I can create ones with multiple parameters. They all work, so it's cool. I just have to, in order to make a variant, I do have to make a new script, but it's not a big deal. I just have to make 3 scripts, and they're super easy. So all I have to do is inherit from the base scripts that are already here. So the shared event listener, I just name it something unique, like shared event listener object, and this is the Unity object version. And I just inherit from shared event listener and template and just give it the object as its parameter. That's it. So this is the entire file. The shared event caller, it's got a little bit more, but that's because it's got a custom property editor. The same thing. Shared event caller object just inherits from shared event caller template object, and then the custom editor literally just inherits. It doesn't even need a template. It just inherits from the property drawer because all the properties are the same, and it makes it all nice and cool there. And then for the object, the shared event itself, the one that you create, just change the name up here to what you need. Just make sure that it represents what you want. And then the same thing, it just inherits from this and it's all set up. I don't need any special code for these. Nothing needs to be overwritten. It just works. And that's it. I just make 3 files and boom, it's done. Then I have a brand new variant just like that. It's no biggie. So it's super cool. It's very, very cool. I'm very happy with how this works. And like if I need to make a new event, literally just boom. Let's see. Wiz system shared event. Parameters, new event 2. Boom. That's it. It exists and I could just go in here and just drag it in. There we go. And drag this one onto here. And it will call that event like nothing happened. Boom, there it is. That's it. I made a new event and just set it up in like 10 seconds. It's crazy. And I could do this. I could do 100 of these if I want. Like for Pocket Fighter EX, I could have, every time a character gets knocked down, it can send the position data. It can send all that shit to everybody that's listening, and anything can react to it. It could be an NPC doing animation. It could be, well, we have kind of like a weak version of this, right? Where the light next to in that one stage will flicker every time there's a knockdown. But now, what?
We had it. Oh, we have it, yeah.
Yeah, it still works. But now I could say that you have to be within a certain distance radius for it to work. I could set up a variant of this that takes a distance parameter and it sends that out with the with the event, and that thing can listen in on it and say, okay, let's check to see where that impact happened and is it close enough to cause the light to flicker. You could do crazy advanced stuff like that. It would be so cool. I just can't wait to implement it and other stuff. I mean, it's ready to go at this point. Just have to bring it in together. Yeah, it's ready to go. In Mansion, you could have proximity. You could step on a switch, and that switch could fire an event, and then you could have excuse me, you could have that event fire off the open a door. You could create an enemy off of it. Anything that's listening, it could do whatever it wants. Or you could say you got a key, you picked up an item in a room, and that sends an event to other parts of the game to say that now you have that key, you can do stuff. You know, there's so much stuff you can do with this. It's crazy. It's really nuts. So, especially when they're disabled and they can be enabled, it's stuff that I would only dream of like last year, and now it's like here, it's a reality. So I'm like super, super, super happy that all this works. There you go. That's how it goes. Oop. Oh, let me see. I want to save. Damn it. Save, so I don't lose my changes. I don't know. Anyway, I'm pretty much dead tired, so I'm like half asleep in my chair. So I'm getting the.
So what's the circumstance of the migration?
What's that?
What's the progress in the migration?
Oh, the last thing that I did was doing the filters, and then I started working on the event thing, because the event thing's gonna be for both. So I kind of just, while I had it in mind and I had an idea to follow, I just wanted to follow up on that. And here the migration is how am I gonna put it? Not much has been done in the actual migration, but there's still a few things I have to set up too. So it's all coming together a little bit by a little bit. I had to get the ViewFrame Plus thing working though first before anything else could get imported in, because who knows if
part of that.
all this stuff here, this is all ViewFrame Plus stuff. And then I wanted to try the interpolation. I didn't have to try the interpolation right away, but while I had the idea for it, I wanted to do it. And since I was renovating all of this, I was like, well, I might as well give it a shot. There's a couple things I want to clean up on it, but it's pretty much done there. And then I can start importing systems from the other projects too. So the literally if I update the repository on this project, it'll automatically have the shared events just right there. Boom. It's all ready to go. You know? So that's, again, like I said, this literally goes for all the projects, because as soon as I sync up these changes, they'll be immediately available in both the other projects to be used, and it'll just work TM. So I'm very happy about that. See, every time I do a shared system, it's like working on Pocket Fighter EX and Mansion at the same time. It's double productivity, you see? No, for real though. For real.
From which project budget this is going from?
What's that?
From which project budget this is coming from?
You think we got a budget on either of these things? You got another thing coming. It's all passion project, baby, everything. Because we're too poor. If they were actually a budgeted thing, I would probably put them under Mansion though, because Pocket Fighter EX was never built with these to begin with, so it's just kind of like a bonus that these systems have to be in Mansion anyway. So we build them in Mansion, and they just conveniently just get backported in Pocket Fighter EX to be used. So that's how I would rank those ones.
So a little bit of a recap on the migration here. You want all the tile sheets to be 256 by 256?
That's correct. Some of them are not, obviously. Some are 256 by 512, but I'll manually chop them up and put them together. Then I'll put them on the same tile palette here, so that they'll be accessible as if they were one giant sheet. Now, obviously, like we discussed before, where I actually moved these tiles out to create the little patterns out here, we will copy them instead and retain the sheets as they are in full.
So you don't want multiple tile palettes?
No. Oh, there's no reason to. If two tile sheets, 256 by 256 sheets, if both of them correspond to the same area, there's no reason to make them two tile palettes and having you flip back and forth 100 times. Just put them on the same tile palette. If they're all for the same area, you can just put them on there and that's it, and you're good to go.
Can't guarantee that though.
Well, you wouldn't make that second tile palette till you filled up the first one. And then you're like, oh, I need more room for the basement tile set. So let's make a basement tile set 2 file, and we import that, and then we explicitly put it in there.
If you're full, but I mean, if it's like the caves, basement, something else.
I would say that, like, for the caves and stuff, you would keep that stuff separate.
I mean, area type.
Yeah, for different area types. So, like, mansion interior, we'll have a bunch of different interiors, but right now we've only got one, right? So, the mansion interior is one.
Yeah.
You know.
So, it still might have a prototype Mark and Tim palette.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. We'll have our own Mark and Tim ones, for sure. For our own areas to test.
And, on the side.
Yeah, we'll eventually have more test ones, too. You know, that we can call upon. So that's not like a big deal. We can make as many test ones as we want. They just won't be loaded into the final game. So you can be messy with your test ones if you want. But just make sure there's still 256 by 256. You have to keep that consistency. But you can make, 10 Tim test tile palettes if you really want to. That's okay. I don't care. Because they won't get used in the actual game, so it's fine.
Yeah, so as long as you don't use them outside that scope.
Right, yeah. Because if they get referenced anywhere, if you use them in any other map, it'll load all those fucking textures along with it, and it'll be a goddamn nightmare. It'll just start flooding textures into the RAM. And for dev machines, like, when we're working on it on the dev machine, that's not a big problem, but, for efficiency's sake, when you're actually putting the game out there, you don't want that kind of shit happening, because then it's just wasted resources.
What do we want to do with the actual platforming code?
I'm going to port over the old broken platforming code in just so we can get something walking around. But we will continue to develop the new platforming code in its own project file to keep it kind of nice and clean and not impacted by any other system. When it's ready, then we'll bring it back into this official project file and we'll hook it up.
Okay.
But at least in the meantime, we'll have the broken one to at least walk around the levels and stuff.
We should definitely then at least account for the same kind of structure.
What do you mean?
Sliders and tile maps. In the new one.
What about it?
We built it using on the basis of just polycollars, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we shouldn't have to change the underlying structure of the tile
We
maps.
we never really converted it to use the tile maps.
It won't use the tile maps, no. It won't use them as tile maps.
I mean, the colliders on the tile map we never made those in those fixes.
What was that?
Remember when you first introduced the tile maps, you had issues with the giant collider doing parts of it.
Yeah, we partially solved that, but I didn't want to get too crazy with it because we were gonna erase it anyway.
But we haven't put any of that in the new open code.
Correct. The new collision code does not respect multiple separate paths within a collider. Yeah. Correct. Yeah.
So that's still doozy.
Yeah, we can do it. It's fine. It's not too big of a deal.
Okay.
Well, yeah, we will have to port that over. We got a lot more to redo than that, believe me. So that's the least of our worries in this case.
But yeah, just that part. You say it's doable enough.
I believe so. Yeah, I don't think we'll have a problem with that.
Do you think it's fine to build it first in polycollars and then expand it?
Wait, say that again?
Build the new collision code, which is the polycollars, and then expand it later?
Yes, correct. Yeah, then we'll expand it later. That's fine. because the switch isn't too huge. It really the biggest change for the different paths on the poly colliders really lies within the collection of the data and not so much the raycasting and all that. So it's almost kind of removed from that system in some ways. You might have to modify one or two things here or there in the collision code, but most of it is just collecting, making sure that it realizes what path it hit, and then collecting data only from that path as a complete collider to send to the rest of it. And it's fine. It's not a big deal.
Okay, is it so?
Yep.
Let's see. I guess all these stages will break, right? In the conversion.
Oh yeah, the stages are not making the jump. They wouldn't be compatible even if we did put them in there, because all the tile maps and everything are new.
Unless you manually remake them.
Yeah, right. You'd have to manually remake them. I could technically port the files over, but they would be broken as soon as you tried to open them, because all the supporting assets wouldn't be there. So I'm not gonna bother. But again, like I've always said, all the maps, even going forward for the time being, are all temporary. None of them are going to be considered, surviving potentially into the future. So we won't have to worry about that necessarily. Don't get too attached to them. Oh, go ahead.
I said, okay.
After the import is done, obviously we want to work in the collision code, but outside of that, beyond that, my next goal is going to be try to lay a foundation framework for getting room-to-room loading working. Instead of having one giant map, that's the one big, just giant plane of tiles, I want each and every room to be their own individual sort of dimension. So that when you enter the zone of the room, it will deactivate the room you came from, and it will activate the room that you went to. And then at that point, it will load all the tiles. Well, it won't load them necessarily. They'll be all loaded and pre-configured and turned off. And that's why this pre-awake is so important, by the way. So we can have all the object that contains all of the tile maps and the enemies and whatever for that room can be off by default. And once you step into its zone, it will activate. The enemies will come alive, the tile maps will appear. All in the span of 1 second, like you won't even notice it. And then when you leave, all the enemies will despawn and reset back to their normal positions where they need to start from. And all the tile maps disappear so they don't interfere with other rooms and stuff like that. Items, the same thing. Any items in that room will either respawn or they'll disappear if they're not meant to be collected multiple times. Things like that. So that's what I'm looking to do next. Lay a foundation for how that system is supposed to work and try to implement a prototype of it. Because if we continue to make maps that are just one giant fucking tile map and giant colliders, we will run into performance issues eventually with that anyway. So that's
but
still an issue.
If it is a giant collider, and you've drawn that whole section and you move around the room, you can't disable anything, right? Because it's one part.
Yeah, you'd either have to separate the enable disable from like the physical tile layer, which could be possible, but so you get performance issues eventually. So I still wouldn't do it. But the visual ones would absolutely have to be individually between the rooms. Because if like a parallax layer invades the space of another room, then you'll have like this fucking layer floating around in the background that's not supposed to be there. It's a giant mess. So in order to avoid parallax overlap and interfering with other rooms, at least the visual tiles have to be contained within that room's scope, and as soon as you leave that room, they turn off and they become invisible and they won't update anymore. And then when you go back to that room, they'll just turn back on. And same thing with enemies, they'll turn off and on as you enter and exit the room. You don't want enemies, necessarily, at least I don't think so, in this game, I don't expect enemies to be able to travel between rooms necessarily. Maybe a special enemy might, but the typical enemy's not going to be able to do that. Right now, we do have that, where the enemy just doesn't have any boundaries, because there's nothing telling it to turn off when you leave the room, because there's no room boundary code yet. So there's camera zones, and those are a little different, but it is what it is. And that's the other thing, that it can control the camera zone too. So when you enter the boundary of the level, it can tell the camera, hey, swap to this camera zone, because now you're in this room, instead of maybe an auto detection, or maybe it just tells it to manually swap it. Things like that. So it's...
Camera zones have that function?
What's that?
Couldn't the camera zones have part of that function?
They could. It's possible that I might use the camera zones detection as a way to facilitate the room thing, but I don't have to necessarily. I'm undecided on it. It's definitely a possibility that I could use that to trigger the room being generated or activated. But
options for different styles of room transitions or camera zone transitions?
What do you mean by that?
Well, right now, when you just walk on the edge of the screen, you snap into the next screen.
That's correct.
Stuff like in Mega Man, where it's like you see the scrolling effect.
It would be much harder to do that, especially with parallax, because you would have to have, like in Mega Man X, there were certain rooms that didn't have a parallax background, because what was happening behind the scenes is the parallax was being swapped out and reloaded for a different one, because they would interfere with each other otherwise if they were both active at the same time. You would have to facilitate smart areas to do that, and if you wanted to do that kind of transition. But as far as I'm concerned, I say fuck it, just blank the screen out for a few frames and bring them back, like the Castlevania games do.
General framework of that kind of thing for any other project.
What's up?
The general framework to allow for that kind of thing. Oh.
We could certainly create it, but I'm not sure going through the trouble would be worth it. I get what you're getting at, though. I mean, it would be kind of unique, but I'm not sure.
Since we're making the platform collision code to be allow to work for any sort of platformer, we do need to at some point allow for that kind of stuff. At least think about it. How we could maybe later port it to that.
Yeah, potentially, for sure.
Actually, you're doing a tech demo for a Rock Band game.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I mean, in that case, depending, like, if you didn't even have parallax, then it wouldn't be an issue. But yeah, you could totally do it. And that's why I say, like, Mega Man X is a good example where wherever they need to transition their parallax layers, they just have a section of the level that hides the parallax behind it, so that transition can take place. And that's easy enough to do. There's nothing particularly odd about that.
Even if we're talking strictly mentioned, you might want something Castlevania where it's like you hit a door on the side, door opens, and you scroll over into the next room.
It's possible. You just gotta be really, really careful about how the seams of the levels transition if you do something like that. You can't hard cut one tile map to another, because you'll have that like sort of like line between them that's obviously not matching up.
It would have to be basically one map.
You don't have to.
Visually.
Visually it would look that way. You don't have to encode. So what you would do is once you touch the door, the next room activates and loads in while the old room is still loaded in. And then you make your transition, and then once the camera pans far enough, then you despawn the old room, and then you continue the new room. I would probably just turn time off for enemies during this period so the enemies couldn't move, but that Ricky could still move. He wouldn't be player controlled. Obviously, it'd be like a cutscene to go from one to the other, but yeah, you would definitely do something like that.
I think a lot of that sort of stuff allows for anticipatory vibes in the atmosphere.
That's true. It does, and it does make the world feel a little more seamless. Although Castlevania does, the old Castlevanias do cut between vertical transitions, much like the newer games did. So they kind of did both in a way, sort of. Yeah, they kind of did both in some ways. So it wasn't exactly like a flawless transition, you know, from one to another. It'd have to be really thought out well. Excuse me. If you wanted to do that for the whole duration.
I just feel like there's definitely moments where we want to do something unique with the camera transitions, camera zones.
It depends. If you do it in one spot, it might become expected that you're going to do it everywhere, though. So you'd be very careful about that.
Things like the lead up to the final battle or something, you know?
Maybe. We'd have to discuss very specifically the kind of effect that we'd want to do, and then see if it was doable and fits.
Or some horror set piece, yeah, that sort of thing.
Or what?
Or some horror set piece.
Yeah, potentially. But yeah.
You can
anyway.
imagine. Just think out loud here.
Hmm?
Think. I mean, AMTR did something like this. Like you're going from room to room, trying to escape the big bad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're stopped by whatever door you're going through. You transition, and then the big bad bursts through the wall, kind of thing.
That sounds awful Super Nintendo-y.
Oh, yeah, I was saying is, you know, if you want to do something special,
I get you.
you can get away with it using tricks like that.
Rondo did that essentially. They had the enemy burst through the wall and follow you. And yeah, you went through the door, and then he also burst through the door behind you and tried to still attack you. So they actually did that in Rondo, almost verbatim. It wasn't the last boss, but it was like a little mid-boss in the second level there. That was a pretty cool effect. That was pretty neat.
So you can get away with cool scenes like that if you fiddle around your coding smart.
Yeah. Yeah, I get you. I mean, you could still kind of do it, you know, with strict transitions, but yeah, it would probably be a little more impactful if you could just see the transition happen. You know,
and of course, you need to be careful with your zones so they don't simply move in all sorts of directions, but just only one or so. Yeah? Like things get weird, right, when you transition between vertical and horizontal at the same time.
Yeah, that one's weird. I mean, you could do it. Like, what's the game that does it now? Wario Land did it. Where when you got so far up the screen, it would push the screen upwards to the next, like, room layer, so to speak. Now, it was still one whole cohesive room, but that kind of visual transition going up and down. I mean, Mega Man does it too when you go up a ladder and it just moves the camera up a bit till it gets to the new room. You could do that too. There's no reason that you couldn't do a vertical one. It would just have to be implemented in a way visually that it's all cohesive. It's something to think about, at least. So it's something I really didn't even consider until you've mentioned it now.
Or, you know, going up a staircase to the next floor.
Yeah, you could do that.
Cut that. You know, you would cut it or smoothly do it, you know?
Yeah.
Depending on what you do, you're gonna get a vibe.
Yeah, I don't know, like, what you mean by smoothly exactly, but the time would freeze, the screen would move up, and then time would unfreeze, you know, like that.
Well,
like
I mean,
Mario 2
just
does that.
Camera scrolls that way instead of just going snap.
Yeah.
You get different vibes doing that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Here, let me.
And
I'm gonna boot
getting
up
that
the game.
vibe might be important.
Let me boot up a game that does this well. At least I think so. Here, hold on. Gotta turn it on. Come on. CRT takes a minute to warm up. This will be our last thing, then I'm gonna have to go. I'm like super dying. Okay, we wanna play. Where are we here? Here. Okay. Can you guess what it is?
Switch windows.
I am. Here it comes. Do. Here, I'm putting the CRT filter back on. Fuck you. Scanline, hint mod, and
I don't get your CRT position.
shut up. It looks good. Fuck you. Okay, good one. It's good old Mario 2, my favorite fucking game in the universe. No, don't erase the file. Fuck. Start. There we go. We'll just pick Luigi because Luigi's the best, obviously. But watch how the screen transitions. That's exactly what you're talking about. Oh, shit.
Yeah. I mean, I think it does create a certain effect here that you wouldn't get if you just snapped the next screen.
Correct. That's correct. You just have to be really careful about how those, the visual cohesion works. Because it will look really strange.
Whereas here, when you go to a door, you always have to be. When you go to this door here, you know, it just snap.
Oh yeah, the door can snap. That's fine. But what I mean is, if you just go from room to room and it blanks out, the tile sets don't have to be cohesive during that transition because you're transitioning the entire screen at once. But if they're connected, if those tiles are connected, you have to think about that connection and how the visual cohesion goes from one to the other.
I've also seen games where it's like the whole thing blacks out, except the character, and then you see the character walking over. Like everything with the sprite layers gets turned off, and then you just walk over, and then the lights come back on.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that. That would. You might as well just do a quicker screen transition if you're going to do that.
Depends what you want to do. Really depends on how you want to paint the atmosphere.
Okay, here's the section that really you can really see it all in. Once you get high enough, but look at this. It doesn't transition the whole screen. It's only when you get near the top. But you see that ninja is still on the top of the screen? Now he's on the bottom of the screen. So that's something to think about too. The screen transitions like 70%.
Game that I've seen do this.
So,
this is like the only game I've seen do this.
Wario Land does it as well. Mario World sort of does this, but it's a bit more graceful. It's a bit more. Can I go back down now? Yeah.
Like the transition point is 3/4 of the way through the screen.
It is, yeah. And we don't have to do it that way.
It only triggers when you're on a vine or when you're actually standing.
Only when you're standing. So if we go down.
Earlier, all you do with a vine.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. I'm sorry. Yeah, when you're on a vine or when you're standing. But if you're in the air, it doesn't happen. So, this up here, right? If I super jump up here, it doesn't transition until I come down on this platform, and then it does it. Mario World does something similar that the camera only pans up when you land on something. And then likewise only when you come down so far on the screen. Now I don't think we have to do it exactly this way, but it's interesting to see how they did it.
It's just interesting to see how this kind of stuff affects how you feel about the experience.
Very much so. It feels like an actual world here when you do it this way.
Respawn the character there? Respawn the ninja there? Can you do it?
Yeah, they'll come back. They'll come back when you come down. As long as they're off screen.
He triggered you while he was jumping you up. You triggered the transition while you jumped up.
I did? Wait, what? Huh?
One of them was so close to the screen edge that he moved you into the next screen.
Oh, he did? Oh, I wasn't paying attention, but yeah.
So I think when he passed that boundary, he transitioned. One screen lower.
Yeah.
Jumping guy.
Yeah, I know you're talking about Ninja. I know what you're saying. Oh, okay. I think you're requesting me to stand on top of him, right? Yeah. I don't know.
Like, is he only doing that threshold or when he's hitting the edge of the screen?
No, it's when you're standing. So yeah, it goes still.
It's hitting the same threshold as the floor. So as you can see here, that threshold is actually a bit lower than the floor.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's consistently hitting it like one tile below the floor.
Right, and so it only triggers when you land, which is fine. So that's why only when you land on it, it'll go up. But yeah, so if you jump, it waits till you land in order to check to see if you're high enough to cause a transition. And if you are, then it happens, and if you aren't, then it doesn't. Yeah, but yeah, you're right. The actual transition point is a little lower. It's just that you wouldn't land on that normally because, you know.
Yeah, but on this guy, the camera still makes the same motion. Even though you hit a player. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's neat.
So
yeah,
theoretically,
they're definitely they're definitely consistent with where the zones are.
Theoretically, can you super jump onto the higher platform from the NG?
I believe so. Yeah. Oh, you mean from the Ninja? Well, I can do it from here, from the ground too.
Okay.
Yeah, and it'll do it in the same one.
Yeah,
is this live? Yes, this is live chat. I think everybody knows that Mario 2 was called Doki Doki Panic in Japan. Certainly I know.
It was called that.
But did you know that Mario 2 from the United States was called Mario 2 USA in Japan? They released this version of the game in Japan. It was called Mario USA. How about that? Has some hot facts.
I said it wasn't called Doki Doki Panic.
Well, the original was Doki Doki Panic with the Arabic characters.
This is just cheap ROM hack.
Yeah. But then the ROM hacked version, I guess if you want to call it that, was called Super Mario USA in Japan, which is fucking weird, but okay.
Or we could just call it a version upgrade.
Yeah, version upgrade. Now, here's one thing that a lot of people don't realize, though, if we want to get into nitty-gritty about the facts. There was no run button in Doki Doki Panic. They added that for the Mario.
Ninja went up the floor.
What about it?
He accidentally went up a floor somehow.
Oh, I don't know. This game's weird. It happens. Sometimes I jump up and whatever. I don't know.
Even on the screens, where'd it come from? You threw him in there or something?
Maybe? I don't know. There, now he's up there.
Yeah, right. This is a big puzzle element, though. You could actually like stack these guys.
Well, if you throw them into each other, they'll kill each other, though.
Yeah, I mean, you can move one up and get to weird places.
Oh yeah, you can keep moving them up and up and up if you want. Oh shit.
Yeah, how would you go about accomplishing this kind of transition type?
I am way too tired to think about that.
I mean, would you have like, would you need like an extra line or something in the zone, like, an extra zone part within the zone?
I would say defer to Mega Man. Look at it, like he's going up, he's doing it. My little guy, he's going, oh, he's gone. He killed himself. I mean,
Well,
he Roblox himself. Don't take me down.
What I'm saying is, like you have the camera zones, right? That's what the camera is showing. But it doesn't have to be the vision zone, as you can see here.
Correct, yeah. And remember, our camera zones can be smaller than the camera themselves, so you could absolutely make this effect happen, even with our current system. It would actually work. You would just have to make them smaller than the actual screen and just stack them next to each other.
Or overlap them.
Chat says, I really hated the mask guys. They scared the Jesus out of me. Oh, the flying mask, the Phantos. Yeah, they are legitimately scary. Phantos are great. I love this fucking game. This game is so good. It's so dumb because, like, it doesn't play like anything like the original Mario in many ways. Like, it kind of does, but it doesn't at the same time. The fact that you're always like picking stuff up, a completely new mechanic. But back in the day, we didn't know any better. We're just like, fuck it, Mario 2, you can pick shit up now. That's cool. Like today, people would be bitching and moaning on Twitter. Mario's all different now. Why is Mario all different? I don't want Mario to be. You know what I mean?
That. Either way.
But it's kind of, I don't know, I guess like Odyssey introduced like the new mechanic with the hat and stuff, but it's still based on all the Mario physics are all kind of the similar or the same.
Imagine a 3D Mario 2.
Like 3D movement or?
Like Mario 64, Mario 2000.
I don't know if I'd like that. Maybe, I don't know. Like with like picking things up and stuff, it'd be really hard to like aim and throw things though in 3D.
Oh no, you were throwing Cappy around?
Yeah, but that's different. Like you can also do a spin attack with Cappy and stuff, but like, how would you do that with an item?
Yeah, but start thinking of like taking elements from this game into 3D space.
I'm way too tired to think about that right now. Why do you keep making me think? I'm trying to go. Oh shit.
Think, Mark, think.
I don't want to, I'm very tired. Very, very tired. Check it out. Skip the shit out of this. Why, Luigi's the god of this game. He'll skip everything. This game's fucking awesome. People like shit on this game today, but this game's fucking great. Anybody who shits on this game is not based. They're cringe. The Chad Mario 2.
What I'm trying to get at is that all the newer Mario stuff is based on, Mario 1, basically.
Mostly, yeah.
It's
yeah,
about-
like the physics in this game are like really different. It's not a lot of momentum here. There's just very little momentum. A lot of jump control. Where like the original Mario was very momentum based.
Like it could benefit from at least taking some ideas from this game going forward.
They could have, but they didn't. It is funny though that the Mario World, no, I'm sorry, Mario 3 had extra levels in the Game Boy Advance version that actually had like the turnips and shit that you could pick up, which I thought was really funny because he had the Mario 3 sprites with the pickup animation. It was hilarious. But you had to have the stupid cards to unlock them or whatever. But a lot of the enemies made it into Mario canon. It's like Shy Guys and shit. Those are all from Doki Doki, but they're all Mario characters now. But bombs came from this game. They were directly used in Mario 3. Dude, I love Trouter. Trouter's fucking funny as hell. He's just a
I used
fish.
to think a lot of Mario 2 inspiration would bring a lot of fresh air to the series.
He did, yeah. And they could do more. Damn it, I wanted to pick him up. Dude, I love flurries too. That's what those guys are called, the little skating dudes. They're just a little blob, but I just love them. Look at them. They're cool. I don't know. I like this game.
I love this game so much if it's just Doki Doki Panic.
Shut up. Doki Doki sucks. Mario 2 rules.
I mean, if Mario 2 never came out and it was localized, Doki Doki Panic.
What?
What? If Mario 2 never came out and then just translated Doki Doki Panic, how would you feel with the game?
Oh, I see what you're asking. I don't know. I really don't know. I probably would still like it. That's hard to tell. It's impossible to tell. God damn it.
Yeah.
It's impossible to tell whether I would have heard it or not. I mean, if they just localized Doki Doki, I mean, I'm pretty sure I would hear about it eventually. I mean, because like Nintendo Power would have featured it, so I probably would have seen it in there because it's a Nintendo game. You know, it's directly a Nintendo game.
Let's say for the sake of argument, they had all the extra quality of life improvements from Mario 2.
Yeah, I've played the original Doki Doki. It's weird. There's a level select and stuff too. It's really different. You have to play all 4 characters because the characters go through different worlds.
Huh.
So it's really weird. It's really super weird. But if it was like Mario 2, but just with the Doki Doki characters, let's just say in some kind of alternate universe, that's what they did. I don't know. I think I'd still like it, but I don't know if I would like it as much as I do because of Mario characters. I think because I like Luigi, I like Mario, you know, and all that shit. It was just really cool. The fact that like you could play as Toad and Peach and shit. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, at this point, I'm just fucking around. Oh, there we go. Heal her up. Yeah, you have a life bar too, which is really un-Mario-like. You don't always shrink when you get hit. You can take a hit or two, give or take on what's going on. It's very unique. I like it. Back in the day, I never thought anything of it. I was just like, yeah, it's a new Mario. Fuck yeah. Good shit. But nowadays, everybody's like all like mad about it. Like, it's not a real Mario game and this shit. It's like, fuck off. I see Mario in it. It's a real Mario game. Go fuck yourself. No, in fact, I think it was Miyamoto's suggestion to turn it into a Mario game. He's like, it's close enough. He's like, it really is very much like a Mario game. So just change them to Mario and send it over. Like, that was literally what happened. It's not like some corporate suit was like shitting on Mario or whatever. It was literally like Miyamoto was just like, hey, it's close enough. Just put Mario in it. It's fine. And I mean, you know, you gonna argue with Miyamoto? Better not. Yeah. You better not. He's Mia fucking Mo. Don't you dare. He's the God King of game design. You will respect.
The motto.
Yeah. No, but like that's the thing. Like a lot of people like trying to delegitimize the game, but it's like, nah. Even Nintendo was like, yeah, it's kind of was based on that anyway. So go ahead. Toad's fast. No, Toad's like the best character if you're doing speedrun and shit. Well, unless you need to do a skip and then you use, oh, I should've used, here, let me die. Hold on. We have to recreate the image. Remember the image you sent me earlier today?
Oh.
This is the level. Oh shit! Fuck. Come on. This is the level where you have to go with the egg. You gotta ride the egg. See? That's it. This is the level. So if you beat the Birdo, you can't get over here. It's kind of weird. I don't think there's anything over here. Yeah, you have to bring the potion with you. Anyway, here's a skip. Only because of the Ouija. And only because of the run button. You can't do this in the original game because you need the run button to get over it.
I remember that. Peach can do it.
Let's see. I think it is.
Peach can do it, right?
Triclide? Is this Triclide? No, Fry Guy. Shit. What's up?
Can't Peach do the same job?
Yeah, she can. For sure. But it's only possible in this Mario 2 version, not Doki Doki.
Yeah.
Because of the run button. Otherwise, you can't get the the speed necessary to get it. Uh-oh, shit. All the blocks are on the bottom. I'm so fucked. No! Come over here. Yeah, fuck off. Yeah, fuck off. Uh-oh. Oh god, no! I was so close.
I mean, it seems like there are 2 games that Nintendo really can take a lot of inspiration from, but they're not doing it.
Yeah, that's Nintendo for you. They do whatever
One of
they
them is
want.
Mario 2, which is a classic in its own right, and the other is the Donkey Kong game.
The Donkey Kong game. Oh, Donkey Kong 94?
Yeah.
Well, most of Donkey Kong 94 moveset made it into Mario 64, or vice versa. I'm not sure which one came first. So that did actually get incorporated quite heavily. A lot of what he could do in that game was also in Mario 64 with the backflip and the triple jump and all that shit. So, fuck me. Uh-oh. Okay, run. Run! Oh god, they're fast. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh! One more. Come on, baby. Come on, just, yeah. No? Shit. Oh, no! God damn it. Fry Guy's hard. Fuck me. Alright, whatever. Anyway, I'm super tired, so I'm getting the fuck out of here. That's it. We're done. We're done.
Game over.
Yeah, game over for real. I'll play Mario 2 in December, I think. So we do gameplay streams on Sundays, and we do development streams on Monday, Thursday. So I'll play Mario 2 in December. Just not the weekend that we're gonna do a Mega Man game. Because Mega Man's anniversary is also in December, so I have to play a Mega Man game in December as well. I don't know which one I'll play, but whatever.
You gotta say which one.
I don't
X7.
know. No, I'm not. Never playing X7 again. Fuck that.
Super Adventure Rockman.
I don't have that one.
Everybody be like, what the fuck?
I have no interest in it though, to be completely honest. It's just weird. I don't think I'd like it. Anyway, whatever. So
We'll find the weirdest one for you.
Cyber Shadow? Cyber Shadow. That sounds familiar, but I don't know what it is.
Wait for it. No, wait for it. Yacht Club.
Cyber Shadow. Is that the one with the
Ninja game by the
Ninja.
guy who
Cyber
that got
Shadow.
published by Yacht Club. I think.
Yeah. It looks like the Ninja Gaiden, but it's like Robot Ninja Gaiden. Yeah. Okay, I see it. Yeah. Yeah, it's like a Ninja Gaiden clone. Yeah. I want to play for December. I want to play like wholesome games, kind of, sort of like Nintendo shit, I guess. And then January we can go back to rando shit, I guess.
So we're playing Mega Man Classic then.
No, I don't know. Maybe I'll play Powered Up. Fuck it. I can get the PSP working on stream again. I
That's
got
classic.
the Retro Tank will take the PSP signal. So
Yeah.
I'll do Powered Up. Fuck it. I don't know. Either that or maybe I'll do the X1 remake on PSP. You don't see that too often.
That's not very wholesome.
Well, I mean, it kind of is. Like, no, well, wholesome except for Mega Man Day. Remember, Mega Man Day is kind of the exception. But the rest of them are wholesome. I don't know. I gotta get through Metroid first, too. So, I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, you get the idea. It's fine. So, it is what it is.
You just gotta scrub out more.
Yeah, I gotta scrub it. I really do. But, what I need to do before that is... Damn it. My fucking window's off on the side. I need to shill, right? Patreon. So I have a Patreon for the stream and my personal efforts in game development. So if you want to support that, that'd be great. And maybe I could devote a little more time to sleep if I had more patrons. That would be nice. I'm dying here, dude. I've been up. Like, you've been up longer than me, though. I can't complain.
I don't want to hear it.
But yeah, dude, it's almost midnight, and I've been up since 5 in the morning. If that gives you any idea how fucked that is. Anyway, patreon.com/GameDevScripts. You can get preview builds of stuff. The money goes to like buying software licenses like Photoshop and paying for the stream software and streaming fees and Discord server fees and all that stuff. So it helps me dedicate more time to doing streaming and game development and all that fun stuff. So that's pretty cool if you could help out. And that's kind of it, I guess. I don't know. I guess we're done. So, I guess I didn't hear. It's probably because I have the game audio coming through and not the computer. But the Dendriform, is that it? Dendriform 1491. He followed, so I wanna thank him for that. And then I gotta give a shout out to all the patrons here. So that'll be it, and then we'll close her out. I've got Alex Smith, Mugen, AJ, Wakened Emperor, Angel, Bryce Naglingam, Cameron Weil, Garen Johnson, Mike Cruz, Taryn Williams, Variant X 07360, Alex D, Ben K, D Money 107, LD Walker, Miles Grevin, and Omega Keo. So thank you guys super extra very much. And that's pretty much it. We'll be back on Sunday playing the rest of Metroid Dread. I don't know if I'll be able to finish it. I think it's going to go for another 2 nights, but yeah. So I've been enjoying it. It's fine. So that's pretty much it. All right. That's it. We're out.
That's
Thanks,
Mercury Steam.
I know. I never thought that I would like a Mercury Steam game, but here we are. You know, it's fine. I'll give them their due. They did good. I'll give them it. What?
Have fun on Sunday.
Yeah, I will. That's good. So, yeah. Anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in, and I guess I'm out of here. So scrub out.
Scrub out.